we go. Okay, so this game is a dating sim based around disability. It was kind of an interesting concept when she explained it to me. Like, each of the girls in the game have like some form of like physical disability, and I thought it seemed like an interesting concept, so I figured I'd give it a try. And apparently there is adult content in this game, but I turned it off in the options. No bobs today. I don't want to get banned. So we're going to play this for a few hours. Also, today, and today only, we have special alerts for people who follow and people who donate, if anybody. So, it's also exciting. I made them myself. So, let's give this a try. Let's just start it up. I've got my Mountain Dew for narration purposes. A light breeze causes the naked branches overhead to rattle like wooden wood chimes. This is a popular retreat for couples in the summer. The deciduous trees provide a beautiful green canopy, far out of sight of teachers and fellow students. But now, in late winter, it feels like I'm standing under a pile of kindling. I breathe into my cupped hands and rub them together furiously to prevent them from numbing in this cold. Just how long am I expected to wait out here anyway? I'm sure the note said 4 p.m. Ah, yes, the note. Slipped between the pages of my math book while I wasn't looking. As far as cliches go, I'm more of a fan of the letter in the locker, but at least this way shows a bit of initiative. As I ponder the meaning of the note, the snowfall gradually thickens. The snowflakes silently falling from the white-painted sky are only the sign of the time passing in this stagnant world. Their slow descent upon the frozen forest makes it seem like time has slowed to a crawl. The rustling of dry snow underfoot startles me, interrupting the quiet mood. Someone is approaching me from behind. "Hi, Hisao? You came?" A hesitating, barely audible question. However, I recognize the owner of that dainty voice instantly. I feel my heart skip a beat. It's a voice I've listened to hundreds of times, but never as more than an eavesdropper to a conversation. I turn to face this voice, the voice of my dreams, and my heart begins to race. Iwanako? I got a note telling me to wait here. It was yours? Damn it, I spent all afternoon trying to come up with a good line and that was the result. Pathetic. Yes, I asked a friend to give you that note. I'm so glad you got it. A shy, joyous smile that makes me so tense I couldn't move a single muscle even if I tried. My heart is pounding now as if it were trying to burst out from my chest and claim this girl for itself. So, here we are, out in the cold. Once again, the wind stirs up the branches. The cacophonous noise is music to my ears. Iwanko flinches ever so softly against the gust of the wind. As it passes, she rights herself, as if supported by some new confidence. Her eyes lock with mine as she lazily twirls her long dark hair around her finger. All the while, the anxious beating of my heart grows louder. My throat is tight. I doubt I could even force a word out if I tried. You see, I wanted to know if you'd go out with me. I stand there, motionless, save for my pounding heart. I want to say something in reply, but my vocal cords feel like they've been stretched beyond the breaking point. Hisao? I reach up to try and massage my throat, but this only sends spikes of blinding pain along my arms. Hisao? My whole body freezes, save for my eyes, which shoot open in terror. Hisao! The beating in my chest suddenly stops, and I go weak at the knees. The world around me, the canopy of bare branches, the dull winter sky, and Wanako running towards me, all these fade to black. The last thing I remember before slipping away are the sounds of Iwanko screaming for help, and the incessant clatter of the branches above. What a fucking opening. Alright. Did I have like a heart attack? Four Leaf Studios presents Katawa Shoujo. Probably Shoujo. This is interesting. I like this so far. There's a lot of writers. There's actually animated stuff. I didn't expect that from a visual novel. It's like an actual opening. It's been 4 months since my heart attack. In that whole time, I could probably count the times I've left this hospital room unsupervised on one hand. 4 months is a pretty long time when you're left alone with your thoughts. So, I've had plenty of time to come to terms with my situation. Arrhythmia. A strange word, a foreign, alien one. One that you don't want to be in the same room with. A rare condition. It causes the heart to act erratically and occasionally beat way too fast. It can be fatal. Apparently, I've had it for a long time. They said it was a miracle that I was able to go this long, or go on so long without anything happening. Is that really a miracle? I guess it's supposed to make me feel better, more appreciative of my life. It really didn't do anything to cheer me up. My parents, I think, were hit harder by the news than I was. They practically had 2 hemorrhages apiece. I had already had a full day by then to digest everything. To them, it was all fresh. They were even willing to sell our home in order to pay for a cure. Of course, there isn't a cure. Because of the late discovery of this condition, I had to stay in the hospital to recuperate from the treatments. When I was first admitted, it felt as if I was missed. For about a week, my room in the ward was full of flowers, balloons, and cards. But the visitors soon dwindled, and all the get-well gifts began trickling down to nothing shortly after. I realized that the only reason I had gotten so many cards and flowers was because sending me their sympathy had been turned into a class project. Maybe some people were genuinely concerned, but I doubt it. Even in the beginning, I barely had visitors. By the end of the first month, only my parents came by on a regular basis. Iwanako was the last to stop visiting. Iwanako, sorry. After 6 weeks, I never saw her again. We never had that much to talk about when she visited anyway. We didn't touch the subject that was between us on that snowy day ever again. The hospital? It's not really a place I'd like to live in. The doctors and nurses feel so impersonal and faceless. I guess it's because they are in a hurry and they have a million other patients waiting for them, but it makes me feel uncomfortable. For the first month or so, I asked the head cardiologist every time I saw him for a rough estimate of when I'd be able to leave. He never answered anything in a straightforward way, but told me to wait and see if the treatment and surgeries worked. So, I idly observed the scar that those surgeries left on my chest slowly change its appearance over time, thinking of it as some kind of omen. I still ask the head cardiologist about leaving, but my expectations are low enough now that I'm not disappointed anymore when I don't get a reply. The way he shuffles around the answer shows that there's at least some hope. At some point I stopped watching TV. I don't know why, I just did. Maybe it was the wrong kind of escapism for my situation. I started reading instead. There was a small library at the hospital, although it was more like a storeroom for books. I began working my way through it, one small stack at a time. After consuming them, I would go back for more. I found that I liked reading, and I think I even became a bit addicted. I started feeling naked without a book in my hands. But I loved the stories. That was what my life was like. The days became increasingly harder to distinguish from each other, differing only by the book that I was reading and the weather outside. It felt like time blurred into some kind of gooey mass I was trapped inside instead of moving within. A week could go by without me really noticing it. Sometimes I'd pause in realization that I didn't know what day of the week it was. But other times, all the things that surrounded me would painfully crash into my consciousness through the barrier of nonchalance I had set up for myself. The pages of my book would start to feel sharp and burning hot, and the heaviness in my chest would become so hard to bear that I would put the books aside just to lay down for a while, looking at the ceiling as if I was going to cry. But that happened only rarely, and I couldn't even cry. Today, the doctor comes in and gives me a smile. He seems excited, but not very. It's like he's trying to make an effort to be happy on my behalf. My parents are here. It's been a few days since I've last seen them. Both of them are even sort of dressed up. Is this supposed to be some kind of special occasion? It's not a party. There is this ritual the head cardiologist has. He takes his time, sorting his papers, then setting them aside as if to make a point of the pointlessness of what he just did. Then he casually sits down on the edge of the bed next to mine. He looks to me in the eyes for a moment. "Hello, Hisao. How are you today?" I don't answer him, but I smile a little back at him. "I believe that you can go home. Your heart is stronger now, and with some precautions you should be fine. We have all your medication sorted out. I'll give your father the prescription." The doctor hands a sheet of paper to my dad, whose expression turns wooden as he reads it quickly. A lot of reading. Of course. So many. I take it from his hand and take a look myself, feeling numb. How am I supposed to react to this? The absurdly long list of medications staring back at me from the paper seems insurmountable. They all blend together in a sea of letters. This is insane. Side effects, adverse effects, contraindications, and dosages are listed line after line with cold precision. I try to read them, but it's so futile. I can't understand any of it. Attempting to only makes me feel sicker. All this, for the rest of my life? Every day? I'm afraid that's the best we can do at this point. However, new medications are always being developed, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that list fade over the years. Years. What kind of confidence booster is that? I'd have felt better if you hadn't said anything at all. Also, I've spoken with your parents, and we believe that it would be best if you don't return to your old school. What? Please, calm down, Hisao. Listen to what the doctor has to say. Calm down? The way he says it tells me that he knew full well that I wouldn't like it. Am I going to be homeschooled? Whatever of my concern shows is ignored. We all understand that your education is paramount. However, I don't think that it's wise for you to be without supervision. At least, not until we're sure that your medication is suitable. So, I've spoken to your parents about a transfer. It's a school called Yamaku Academy that specializes in dealing with disabled students. Disabled? What am I? It has 24-hour nursing staff, and it's only a few minutes from a highly regarded general hospital. The majority of students live on campus. Think of it as a boarding school of sorts. It's designed to give students a degree of independence, while keeping help nearby. Independence? It's a school for disabled kids. Don't try to disguise that fact. If it really was that free, there wouldn't be a 24-hour nursing staff, and you wouldn't make a hospital being nearby a selling point. Of course, that's only if you want to go, but your mother and I aren't really able to homeschool you. We went out there and had a look a couple weeks back. I think you'd like it. Looks like I really don't have a choice. Compared to the other heart problems, people with your condition usually tend to live long lives. You'll need a job one day, and this is a good opportunity to continue your education. This is an opportunity. Don't call it an opportunity. Don't call it a goddamned opportunity. Well, you should be excited at the chance to go back to school. I remember you wanted to return to school, and while it's not the same one, a special school, that's an insult. That is what I want to say. It's a step down. It's not what you think. All the students there are pretty active in their own sort of way. It's geared towards students that can still get around and learn, but just need a little help in one way or another. Your father's right, and many of the graduates of the school have gone on to do amazing things. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. One of my colleagues in another hospital is a graduate. I don't care. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. That's what a disability is. I really hate that something so important was decided for me, but what can I do about it? A normal life is out of the question now. It's funny. I'd always thought my life was kind of boring, but now I miss it. I want to protest. I want to blame this lack of reason on shock or fatigue. I could easily yell out something now, something about how I can go back to school anyway, but no. I don't say anything. The fact is that I know now it's futile. I look around the room feeling very tired of all this. The hospital, doctors, my condition, everything. I don't see anything that would make me feel any different. There really isn't a choice. I know this, but the thought of going to a disabled school, what are those even like? As much as I try to put a positive spin on this, it's very difficult. But let me try. Clean slate isn't a bad thing. That's all I can think of to get me through this. At least I have something. Even if it's a special school, it's something. It's a fresh start, and my life isn't over. It would be a mistake just to resign myself to thinking that. At the very least, I'll try to see what my new life will look like. God, that really, really hit hard for me. God damn it. Act 1, Life Expectancy. Wow, that's just a photo. The gate looked far too pompous for what it was. In fact, gates in general seem to do that, but this one especially so. Red bricks, black wrought iron, and gray plaster, assembled into a whole that didn't feel welcoming at all. I wonder if it looked like what a gate for a school should look like, but couldn't really decide. Probably no. Of course, I didn't want to get stuck on thinking about the gate for too long, so I entered through it with the brisk pace that felt surprisingly good. Excuse me. Moving forward feels good. So I walked towards the main building of Yamaku Academy with this brisk pace. I'm alone, as my parents are taking my stuff to the dorms, and there's supposed to be someone waiting for me. The grounds are incredibly lush, filled with green. It doesn't feel like the kind of grounds a school would have, more like a park, with a clean walkway going past trees and the smell of fresh-cut grass and all other park-like things. Words like clean and hygienic pop into my mind. Makes me shudder. I shake them off. Stay open-minded now. It's your new life. You have to take it as it comes. That's what I tell myself. A few big buildings loom behind the leafy canopies, too big and too many for just a school. Everything seems off. It's different from what I thought I knew about schools. It's an uncanny valley. Even though I was told this is my new school, in the back of my head it doesn't feel like one. I wonder if the feeling is real or caused by my expectations of a school for the disabled. Speaking of that, I don't see anyone here. It's kind of eerie. It makes me wish that there was somebody here I could anchor myself to something tangible instead of having this feeling that I stepped into another dimension. The trees hum with the wind and the green hues flashing all around me catch my attention. Makes me think about hospitals again, how they say that the operating rooms are painted green because green is a calming color. So why am I feeling so anxious despite all this greenery? Only after I stand in front of the haughty main building, I surprise myself by realizing why the gate bothered me. It was the last chance I had to turn back, even if I had no life I could return to. But still, after entering, there was absolutely no way I could go back anymore. Feeling nervous and with this realization set in my head, I open the front door. A tall man with bad posture notices me as I enter. We're the only people in the lobby, so it's only logical. Oh wow, this guy looks like, I don't know, he reminds me of the guy from Supernatural, the angel guy, mixed with, Detective Gumshoe from Phoenix Wright. You must be Niki? Nakai. So you are, excellent. I'm your homeroom and science teacher. My name is Muto. Welcome. We exchange a handshake that is neither firm nor sloppy, and he looks at his watch. The head nurse asks you for a brief check-in visit, but there's no time for that now. Oh, should I go later? Yes, afternoon is probably fine. We should get going and introduce you to the rest of the class. They're waiting already. Waiting for me? I don't like being the center of attention, but I guess it's inevitable in a situation like this. Somehow, not knowing what is waiting for me makes me feel really nervous. Thinking of this, I almost miss what the teacher is saying. You want to introduce yourself to the class? I mean, yeah, of course. Why wouldn't I? Yeah, sure. I mean, isn't that normal? Of course, but not everyone likes to be the center of attention. I'm probably one of those people, but I guess I should be the one to give the first impression of myself. Right, but it's no problem. Let's go, then. My heart is pounding in my chest, and it keeps me thinking about my condition as I follow the teacher up the stairs. The third door down the third floor corridor is marked as a classroom for this class, 3-3. Muto opens the door and enters. Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late again. I hesitate for a split second at the door, freezing on the spot. Get a grip. This is a big step, I know that, but there isn't any point to worrying so much about it, at least not this soon. I follow the teacher into the classroom and look around, partially so I won't have to meet the curious gazes of my new classmates. It's pretty spacious, the ceiling is unusually high, and there's lots of space left over around and in between the desks. An entire wall taken up by blackboards and the high, old-fashioned windows only make it seem larger. The students' desks are just standard wooden desks with a shelf underneath for books and wooden chairs with metal frames. Simple and efficient. I stop walking in front of the classroom and face the other students. They all look normal, like the students at my other school, but then, why would they be here? They are probably like me and something wrong with them, only it's not just immediately obvious. Then I notice that one of the girls seemed to be missing the thumb on her right hand. It's a little jarring. Despite the natural tendency to listen when someone's talking to you, I tune out the teacher's speech halfway through while he introduces me to the class. I notice a flash of dark hair and see that someone is looking at me. A girl with really long, straight hair that is pretty eye-catching. As she sees me looking back at her, she covers her face with her hands as if it'll make her invisible. There's one boy with a cane leaning against the lockers at the rear of the class. It's weird seeing someone so young with a cane. Another girl seems to be making some weird hand motions. Sign language? She peers at me over the rims of her glasses, then goes back to whatever she's doing. She's kind of cute. So is the cheery-looking girl with the pink hair sitting next to her. She's really hard to miss. I don't know how I didn't notice her the moment I walked in. Please welcome our newest classmate. He claps his hands, and so does everyone else, except for one girl in the first row who has only one hand. I cringe a little, but hide it by bowing in thanks for the applause that I did not deserve. A collective silence tells me that I should open my mouth now. So, I'm Hisao Nakai, and after that, my hobbies are reading and soccer. I hope to get along well with everyone even though I'm a new student. And after that, I'm being so boring. This is exactly like every self-introduction ever. I should say something more exciting. I end up saying nothing, and the teacher picks up from there. Everyone seems to be satisfied with what little I said, though. A few girls are whispering to each other, throwing glances at me. Could have gone worse. I listen to the teacher as he drones on about getting along while my gaze swept along the classroom. Everyone seems to be listening to him intently, and when he's done, they clap their hands again, which feels like a weird thing to do. The first row girl claps on this round, with her one hand against her other wrist that ends in a bandaged stump. Makes me feel a little bad. We're going to be doing some group work today, so that'll give you a chance to talk with everyone. Is that okay with you? Yeah, it's fine with me. That's good. You can work with Hakamichi. She is the class representative. She can explain everything you might want to know, and who else would be able to do better than that, right? How could I know? The teacher passes out the day's assignment and announces that we will be working in groups of 3. It hits me that I don't know who Hakamichi is. Slow. The teacher seems to catch my helpless expression. Oh, right. Hakamichi is right there. Shizune Hakamichi. Yes, pink hair girl. As he calls out her name, the cute, bubbly-looking girl with bright pink hair and gold eyes waves her hand at me. I take a seat next to her by the window. Hey, I guess you're Hakamichi, right? It's nice to meet you. Ha ha ha! What? I'm caught off guard by her laughter. It's nice to meet you too, but I'm not Hakamichi, I'm Misha. This is Hakamichi. Shi-chan. Giggling, Misha points to the girl next to her, the one that I saw using sign language before. It looks as if she's been staring at me this whole time. She nods once nonchalantly to show that she acknowledges my presence, but only barely. She has short, yet carefully neatly brushed hair, a pair of oval-shaped glasses balanced on the tip of a dainty nose, and dark blue eyes that seem to alternate every few seconds between analytical and slightly bored. It's nice to meet you. She immediately looks at Misha, who smiles and makes a few quick gestures with her hands. Hakamichi nods and makes a few gestures of her own. I start to wonder if the teacher is messing with me, saying things like, you'll be able to talk to people, and who better to explain things to you. I can see you're a little confused, right? Right? But I understand why you would think I was Shin-chan. Shi-chan. Shi-chan is deaf, so I'm the person who translates things back and forth for her. I'm like an interpreter. She says it's nice to meet you, too. You're the new student, aren't you? Well, Shi-chan, of course he is. If he wasn't, he wouldn't be standing up here for no reason, right? Right. He seems like a very interesting person, doesn't he? If we knew that there was going to be a new student, but we didn't know who you'd be. Wow. Ugh, let me try that again. We knew there was going to be a new student, but we didn't know you would be here today so soon. He-chan, right? He-chan? Yup! It fits, doesn't it? Did I say it out loud? It's just a surprise. I never liked that nickname. I don't really see how. It fits. You look just like I imagined. Yeah, you look just like a He-chan. I wonder why everyone seems to think so. Hakamichi taps her fingers on the desk to get Misha's attention. They gesture back and forth to each other excitedly, their hands a blur. Misha seems a little overwhelmed. Oh, sorry about that. Shi-chan wants to know if she's... Shi-chan wants you to know that she's the class rep, so if there's anything you need to know, you can feel free to ask her. Do you like the school so far? We could show you around a little if you haven't had the time to walk around and familiarize yourself with it. Misha stumbles with the hard word a bit, making it stick out in her otherwise fluid translation. Thanks, that would be pretty helpful. Yeah, I just kind of came straight to class today. Hahaha. That's no good. You should always try to learn as much as you can about where you're going before you go there. Not just with school, either. Anyways, even if it's a trip to the convenience store. Always, even if it's a trip to the convenience store. Really, Shi-chan? Learn about where you're going? I guess I didn't bother to do that, or just didn't care enough to do so. I didn't look forward to this, even if I committed myself to going along with it half-assedly anyway. But anyway, I don't say anything, and Misha signs something that ends in a shrug. What was that? Seems like it was about me. I feel like slumping over in my seat. Both of them are smiling, but that shrug hit me unexpectedly deeply. You look down. Are you okay? Don't take it the wrong way, please. I hate it when people are afraid to ask questions. That's how people learn things, by asking. Wow, this girl reminds me of Brandy, I'm not gonna lie, the way that she talks. Asking for help is perfectly normal, as much as needing help. Stop looking like you just failed a test. Alright. Oh, and another thing. You don't have to call Shi-chan something so formal like Hakamichi or class rep all the time. Just call her Shi-chan. Okay, maybe that's too casual. Maybe Shizune would be more appropriate? Yup. Shizune is fine. Okay, that would be a lot easier for me. I feel a lot more at ease. Both of them seem so friendly, so I feel like an idiot for being so apprehensive earlier, especially about Shizune, who I assumed would be all business. Well, she still seems like that, just less so, I guess. I can see why Brandy recommended this game to me. I can already see. Huh? Oh, right, we haven't even touched the assignment. We should start work now, or Shi-chan will get mad. The assignment is also kind of long, so we should start now if we want to finish it before the end of class. Wow, that too! Shizune glares at the two of us impatiently. I don't need to know sign language to understand that. I love her little, like, semi-upset expression. That's cute. Okay, I get the message. After class, we can take a walk around the grounds together. It's a nice day today, okay? The assignment was actually very challenging to get through, combining aspects of being both difficult and unnecessarily long. Still, we finished it a few minutes earlier than everyone else in the class, despite our late start. Shizune and Misha are really capable. They're quite different, though. The class rep is as calm and professional as she looks, while Misha is a lot more playful and girlish, not to mention a little more easily distracted. To be honest, the two of them did most of the work. I feel guilty about that. The clock tower bells ring, signaling the end of the period. Time for lunch. Without knowing what else to do, I follow Misha, who is beckoning me into the hallway and down the stairs. We descend even below the lobby where I met Muto, down to the bottom floor. Just like everything else at this school, the cafeteria seems too spacious and oddly modern in contrast to the classic exterior. Ooh, I like that. It's got the general murmur in the background. That's a nice little touch. I like that. Also, I'm sorry I'm drinking so much. All this talking is really rough on my throat. Just like everything in this school, the cafe... Oh, I just read that. Its big windows open to the courtyard towards the main escape. It's the cafeteria! Her enthusiastic statement of the obvious makes people around us stare, but Misha doesn't seem to care, so we proceed to the line. There's a rather long list of menu options, which seems great until I realize that many of them are to accommodate students who need special diets. Oh, nice. It almost feels like I'm back at the hospital, eating portions measured with scientific precision to meet the needs of the patients. I pick something at random and follow Shizune to a table, sitting opposite of her. As I nibble indifferently at the food I'd rather not eat, Misha pokes me in the side to get my attention and points to Shizune. I don't understand signs, so the point escapes me. Maybe looking at a person who talks to you is proper and polite? Do you want to know something? What? About anything! We're your guides, so you should ask if there is something. I wonder. Ooh. Do we want to ask about deafness? Is that not okay? Let's go for it. Shizune intrigues me, and I kind of want to ask something about her, but I can't really ask about something that personal, can I? I can't come up with anything else, so I just focus on my food while the girls talk between themselves. Misha and Shizune sign back and forth very animatedly, throwing sideways glances at me, but Misha refrains from translating. Maybe they're talking about secret girl stuff or something. I quickly notice a conversation in sign is not enough to fill a silence. We arrive in the classroom early, but we're not the first. That dark-haired girl I noticed is slumped over the desk in the last row. She jumps a little when Misha crashes in the room with the elegance of a rhino. She shrinks deeper into her seat. I can feel her tension all the way from here, as if she were slowly turning into stone just from our presence. Misha and Shizune either don't notice or don't mind it as they walk directly past her to their seats and begin to converse. I'm left wondering about her, even when the classroom slowly fills with other students and finally the teacher. Getting into the rhythm of the school feels strange. It's as if my brain remembers how this is done, but my body doesn't. Towards the end of class, I just start yawning and counting the minutes left. I shouldn't be this tired on my first day of school. Maybe it's the long time spent in the hospital that made me feel like this. I'm even feeling physically weak and lifeless. Before long, the final bell rings. School is finally over for the day. Beside me, Misha and Shizune are having a short conversation. After a bit of deliberation, Misha turns to me. Unfortunately, we can't stay and show you around today, Hee-chan. We've got to hurry already, since there's a lot of work for us to do. You'll find your way around here, I'm sure of it. Wait, the teacher said I'd have to see the nurse. Where do I have to go? Is that so? We can at least show you that much. Come on, the nurses have their own building, so we have to go outside. We join the flow of students making their way down the stairwell and outside, with the girls pointing out the seniors' classrooms in the same hallway as ours. When we get outside, the girls make their way to the smaller building right next to the school. It's built in the same style, so it looks like it's actually a part of the main building. This is the auxiliary building here. There's a lot of official and important stuff inside, like the Yakumu Foundation office and all the nurses' office. They even have a swimming pool. How is that official? Don't be silly, Hee-chan. It's for physical therapy, of course. Anyway, all the nursing staff facilities are in there too. The head nurse's office is on the first floor. You'll be fine from here, right? We'll be going then. See you tomorrow. Yeah, thanks. Bye. A whole building for stuff that has nothing to do with the actual education. I guess it's necessary for a place like this. I walk in hoping that this really will only be a quick visit like the teacher said. On a white door on the left is a green cross with the text head nurse and a nameplate. A voice from inside responds to my knock almost immediately, but I can't quite make it out. It sounded a bit like an invitation to open the door, so I invite myself further in. The room is not large and it smells strange. A friendly-looking man turns around in his office chair to face me as I enter. His desk is neat and tidy, but the bin under the table is overflowing with used medical utensils, and there are at least a dozen coffee cup rings lingering on the desk. Hello there, what can I do for you today? He is young-looking and sort of rugged, but the dimples on his cheek wash that impression away when he smiles. Are you the nurse? He smiles like a person who's heard this very same question hundreds of times. Why, yes I am. It says so on the door, no? You can call me by name or just the nurse, like everyone else. Of course, I shake off my confusion, realizing I probably should grab his extended hand. His handshake is rather firm and friendly. Right. I'm a new student, and my homeroom teacher told me to come and meet you. My name is Hisao Nakai. His eyes light up with revelation as he snaps his fingers. Oh, you're that Nakai! I was just reading your file in the morning. Some kind of chronic arrhythmia and related congenital heart muscle deficiency, right? He gestures me to sit down in a vacant armchair in front of his desk. Some fucking good music. Yes. Good! Well, you've probably been briefed about the school enough, so I'll just go over this quickly. I'm gonna turn down my headphones a little bit. We have all kinds of facilities available, most physical therapy and such. There's always someone from my staff around, even at night, so never hesitate to call us if there is a problem. The famous 24-hour nursing staff. Wow, this is like a hospital. Well, not exactly. For instance, we don't do brain surgery here. His joke feels so out of place that I'm left thinking why he even said it. Yeah, just that it's really weird to have so many medical people at a school. You'll get used to it. I'm not so sure of that myself, but I don't let the nurse know it. Now, let me just find your file again. While he searches for something from his computer and shuffles stacks of papers around, I let my gaze wander around the room. It's the epitome of generic, I'd like to say. Or the epitome. Beige walls and ceiling, dark gray laminate flooring, and all equipment you'd expect from a school nurse's office. Even the ridiculous educational posters are hanging on all four walls, reminding me to eat properly, 3 times a day, and from all the food groups. Smiling, the nurse draws a thick file from a stack of similarly thick files and opens it. So, you already have medication for the arrhythmia, just remember to take your pills every morning and evening, or it won't be much help. Apart from that, do you do any sports? Rash stuff like, I don't know, boxing? He grins into his own joke, but I don't. Well, I played soccer occasionally with some classmates. Ah, alright. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to recommend you to refrain from doing that, at least for the time being. Oh. My lack of reaction makes him raise an eyebrow, but really, I'm not too bothered by him forbidding me to kick a ball around. Oh, excuse me. Oh, goodness. I guess I never did it out of burning passion for the sport, just to have something to do. Oh boy. Any kind of concussion might be very dangerous to your heart, and risking another attack is not a good idea. Was the previous one caused by a sudden concussion to the chest area? There's no mention of the cause in your papers. Not exactly. I sidestep the question acceptably, and he glances at me over his papers with a more serious expression on his face. Still, you need to keep your body healthy, so some exercise would do you good. We have physical therapy and such available, as I said, but I don't think you'll really need such heavy measures. Just get some light exercise regularly. Brisk walks or even light jogging, jump rope, that sort of thing. Swimming, maybe? There's a pool here. So I was told. You were? Very good. At any rate, I'm sure you've been told this before, you just need to take care not to overexert yourself. He wags his finger to emphasize the point. No need, really. I've heard this 1,000 times already. Absolutely no unnecessary risks. Take care of yourself. Okay. He goes over my papers one more time and sets them on the desk, obviously content. Good. That's it, then. Come meet me if you ever need something. Alright, I'm gonna go close my window because there's a large truck outside. I'm ushered out before I even realize it. Quick visit indeed. I end up standing in front of the main building and the auxiliary building, although to my eyes, they still look one and the same. It's the first real look I get at the other students, so I watch people coming out of the school, going towards the gate or the dorms. Everyone seems to know where they're going. And I still keep thinking that most of them don't look too special for being students at a special school. Then again, neither do I. Does that make me one of them? One of us? I should go somewhere too to prevent me from getting lost. It's around dinner time, but I feel tired instead of hungry. The weariness in me only grows as I trudge towards the dorms, set a little way apart of the main building complex. Ooh, there's a little garden of sorts between the school and the dorms. Shrubbery, flowers, and that overbearing smell of fresh-cut grass that fills the atmosphere. It dawns on my tired mind that the smell feels novel because I haven't been outside at all for so long. I'm gonna turn the music down just a little. There we go. Hopefully that's a bit better. The dorm building is big and made of red brick. Like the others, it feels way too pompous for what it is, so I push forward, going inside. It takes more time than necessary to fish out the key I was given from my pocket. Room 119. Despite the ornate exterior, the inside of the room is fairly new, functional, and boring. Just like in the main building, the halls and doors are wide to accommodate wheelchairs. Same goes for the elevators at the ends of the hallways. I poke my head around the corner of the common room door. Inside, a few students are watching the television. One nods and gives a quick hello before turning back to the TV. It seems only the girls around here are sociable. I suppose that's perfectly fine with me. I climb the stairs to the upper floor. Here, small corridors branch off from the main hallway. Each of these minor halls seems to have a toilet and a shower, as well as 4 rooms. About halfway down the hall are Spy Room 119. The nameplates on the rooms adjacent to mine are blank. I guess there are just 2 of us here. A light shines from the door to room 117, so I knock lightly. Hello, is anyone home? From inside, I hear a few movements, and the clicking of way more locks than I thought these doors had. After a moment, the door squeaks open. A bespectacled boy is standing in the doorway. He's looking at me very intently through his extremely thick eyeglasses. Who is it? Blind? No, at least not completely. Why would he have eyeglasses if he was? He leans in close to me until our noses are almost touching. His breath stinks of garlic. Hisao Nakai. I'm moving into the next room. I thought I should introduce my... His face suddenly brightens in realization, and he stands back upright, thrusting his hand out in a smiling greeting, almost straight to my diaphragm. Oh, sup, dude? The name's Kenji. Hi. I take Kenji's sweaty hand and shake it, still a little rattled by the sudden change of attitude and vehement welcome. There were some suspicious-looking people going in and out of your room earlier. It was probably my parents. Your parents? You sure? Because they could have been some other people, too. You can't judge a book by its cover. His out-of-place proverb is left hanging between us awkwardly as I try to think of some way to respond. I'd say the chances are high enough. He shudders and makes some exaggerated hand gestures. You're a brave man, Hisao. Me? I don't think I can trust the chances. There's only one the only one I trust is myself. Does that mean I shouldn't get to know you either? He thinks about this for a while. A wise decision. Damn, you are smarter than you look. Probably. What do you look like? I hope not smart. He squints his eyes and leans closer again, but I lean backwards to dodge it. Never mind, it doesn't matter. With that, he turns, fumbles around for a moment in search of the door handle, and shuts the door behind him. I slide the key into the lock of the door marked 119. Bleak beige walls, white linen, a desk made of some type of light wood, ugly curtains. It's no one's room, impersonal, like my hospital room was. Why does my room look like that? Old wooden desk, ugly curtains, boring walls. The fuck? Why is this guy me? My bags are sitting at the foot of my bed, looking a lot emptier than they did this morning. The closet is sitting open, stocked with my clothes. Also, it seems that there are a number of school uniforms hanging there as well. A note is pinned to the sleeve of one of the shirts. Hi, Hichan. We've unpacked your things and made your bed. They said that if these don't fit, that you should go to the office tomorrow. If you have any problems, you can always call us. Love, Mom and Dad. Well, at least I don't have to worry about unpacking. Kind of hoped I would have. There would have been something to do. It's still too early. I put the note down on the desktop and lie down on the bed, feeling drained. Lying there makes me want to read something, but I have nothing with me. I wonder if the hospital conditioned me for wanting to read whenever I have nothing to do. The restless urge just keeps growing until I have to stand up. Maybe it's stress or something. I was pretty nervous about it before coming and for the entire day, too. I still am, I think. Damn, I have to distract myself somehow, so it won't be this unnatural all the time. Tomorrow, I'll go borrow some books from the library. Yeah, I'll do that. But for now, the bottles of medication neatly arranged on my night table catch my eye. I pick up one and shake it just to hear the contents rattle inside, and then read the glued-on pharmacy label. Sao Nakai, 2 tablets daily to stay alive? Are you shitting me? You can't write that. Oh, okay. It doesn't really say that, but it could just as well. Kind of twisted having your life depend on chemicals like this. I resent it a little, but what choice do I have? It's a little Foley noise for you. With a sigh, I begin my daily ritual of taking the right number of pills from each bottle, being careful to check the correct dosages. I lie down again, feeling hollow and uncertain, and after that I kept staring at the blank, unfamiliar ceiling for a long time. It doesn't start looking any more familiar, not even as darkness falls and long shadows draw across my room like fingers. Sheets feel slightly more comfortable, warm and nest-like against the chill that passes for room temperature here. Soon, the lighter shade of darkness that is the ceiling looks like every ceiling does at night. It becomes the only thing I recognize anymore. The night beckons me to sleep, and I feel the coldness of unfamiliarity and fear creeping up my spine once again. I keep drifting further away from the world I knew. I wake up in a strange room. Let me minimize this real quick. Excuse me. Solid morning light shimmers against the light gray ceiling. I had forgotten how to draw the curtains closed last night. This is my room, isn't it? My room. This is the 3rd room this year that I'm supposed to call mine. Various things around here remind me that indeed, it's me who is supposed to be the one living here. My bag's on the floor, my new school books on the desk, my numerous medications on the night table. I stare at the bottles for a moment, deliberating until I open a bottle, shake out a pill, and pop out a tablet from a foil sheet. I stare down the chaser of water without thinking about the chemistry, or I down them with a chaser of water. My uniforms are in the closet. I slink out from under the sheets and stretch my back before dressing up. Putting on a new school uniform feels like dressing in someone else's clothes. The artificial smell of generic detergent invades my nose, but the feeling of fresh cloth against my back is a good one, a natural one. Feels like a school uniform as it should. It's not much different from what I used to wear before. That goes for other things too. So far this place seems more or less like a normal school, except for the people. I think back to my talk with Kenji yesterday, Misha's constant laughter and Shizune's sweeping sign language gestures. Well, I've only met 3 students so far. Maybe they aren't that normal, but I'm sure others are. Or perhaps people like them are what passes for normal around here? Yeah, what does pass for normal around here? What do people do? I didn't see a lot of kids hanging around after classes yesterday, so maybe there are clubs. If so, I wonder if I should join one. This guy is more active in his school than I will ever be. All through class, the question remains in my mind, so I decide to ask Shizune about it when we split into groups. After all, she did say if I had anything I wanted to know, I could ask her. She crosses her arms and shifts her gaze slowly to Misha, who looks more preoccupied with trying to grind the eraser of her pencil down so that the top is perfect and evenly flat. Oh, I love how cute she looks when she's mad. That's adorable. Ah, sorry, Shi-chan. Is this something you wanted from me? Oh, I see. That is a good question, He-chan. My first thought is that means she doesn't know, which is worrying. Maybe I'm being too negative. Well, anyway, Misha, don't prove me right. Oh, that's right. Everyone is encouraged to join a club. A lot of people do so because there really isn't anything else to do. There are also school events, like the festival coming up in a few days. Almost every student in the school tends to help out with it, doing whatever. So, you actually transferred in at a busy time. Maybe you can help out too. Sure. What's the festival about? Misha freezes. Well, I don't know, He-chan. The truth is, it's a local event, and I'm not from the area, so... I love her. I don't know why. She's the best so far. She starts signing desperately to Shizune, asking to bail her out. Shizune adjusts her glasses at the end of an oddly grandiose flourish and starts signing hard and heavy. Huh? Oh. Who cares? Misha puffs out her chest as she shouts Shizune's words at me with a disproportionate amount of pride. Too loud. I could see heads turning to look in her direction. Not so loud. Human beings evolve with each new generation. The ideals and beliefs behind a festival will inevitably change with time. Now it's about delicious fried food and amusing little games that you play to win prizes. The teacher clears his throat very loudly, batting his long wooden pointer against his other palm like a baton. He shoots a pointed gaze at us. Finally noticing where we are, Misha stifles a yelp and quickly quiets down. Shizune doesn't seem embarrassed at all, though, brushing it off without a care. We are in the middle of class, and should start working. That's right, Shi-chan. What? That's right, He-chan. Are you asking because you're interested in joining a club? It could have been my eyes playing tricks on me, but I saw a suspicious glance exchanged between them. Misha's tone has also changed, although it does that every other word anyway. Yeah, I was thinking about it. Misha and Shizune look at each other again. I'm about to ask what they have in mind when something dark flutters in my peripheral vision, catching my attention. Out of the corner of my eye, I see the girl with long dark hair get up from her desk and slip silently towards the door. Doesn't seem like she was working in any group, and no one seems to notice her but me. I glance at the teacher, who's also looking at the dark-haired girl go. Why doesn't he say anything? He-chan, is something wrong? Do I look as easy as I feel? Or was Misha just looking at me after the girl who left? No, nothing. Okay, well, like we were asking, you don't have any plans for lunch today, do you? I thought I would go to the library and pick up some books. Not really. Do you want to have lunch together then? Sure. Yay! Wow, okay, He-chan, perfect. The rest of class passes uneventfully. The girl with the long hair never came back. Before I had the time to put any more thought into where she could have gone, the teacher informs us that it's time to stop working. Shizune looks more than a little annoyed that we only Shizune looks more than a little annoyed that we only just barely managed to finish all our work on time. I'm just glad we finished it at all. It's not a contest or anything. Yes, it is, He-chan. Impossible. Really? Really. I've noticed this before, but it's kind of funny how Misha is always moving her hands and signing not only everything she says, but what anyone else is saying at any given time. Obviously, it must be so Shizune can understand it. Her eyes dart back and forth between Misha's hands and me. I don't know who I'm supposed to be looking at. I'm talking to Misha, but that might be wrong. Maybe I should face Shizune. I'm looking in the direction of the person whose voice I'm hearing, but really, Shizune can't hear me, but it would be disrespectful to talk to her only through Misha. Then again, isn't that what she's doing? No, she's at least looking at me. This is all very confusing, and it will take some time to get used to. It's not a contest, because contests are competitors over a prize. If there's no prize in the line, it's not really a contest. Shizune's eyes flash dangerously with a competitive glare. She stares at me as if she's surprised that I'm challenging her. I think maybe this is a contest to her. She is the fucking best so far. I never noticed before how dark and blue her eyes are. It's truly an alluring gaze. Are you sure, He-chan? Very sure. Ha ha ha, you're wrong, He-chan, because I don't want to be the slowest one in class. Therefore, what's on the line is confidence in my abilities, and the prize is the satisfaction of proving them. Wahaha! Shizune pushes her glasses up the bridge of her nose in a very matter-of-fact way. I had almost forgotten that I was supposed to have lunch with them. Where'd you want to eat? The cafeteria? Hahaha, that's so plain. Okay, let's go. Plain? Well, I guess. At my old school, I like to eat outside near the back of the building. It was a good spot, but I didn't find it until near the end of my freshman year. I wonder if there's a similar place to eat here. Misha seems to imply as much. Shizune and Misha pull me towards the cafeteria, which is surprisingly not packed. Maybe some students favor eating in classrooms or outdoors. I saw some of my classmates had boxed lunches. After we finish eating, Misha picks up where we left off earlier. So, He-chan, you wanted to know about clubs and stuff, right? Right? Right, She-chan. So, okay, I guess it makes sense to ask first. Exchanging little nods of confirmation, they turn to face me again, and Misha straightens her posture as if she's about to deliver a speech. He-chan, do you have anything you're really interested in? I used to play soccer, but I'm not really into it. I don't follow the teams and players or anything like that. I'm having super bad heartburn right now, which is making it really hard to read. As of late, I usually just read a lot. There is a book club, right, Shi-chan? Right, but it seems like they have all the members they can possibly have right now. Sorry, He-chan. It's a really popular club. Ah, okay, but more to the point, He-chan, does this mean that you don't have anything already in mind? Not really. Good, great, that's great, He-chan, really great. Ha ha ha, wahahaha. Why is it so great? No reason. Well, He-chan, other than clubs and the upcoming festival, there is one other thing. Student council. I see. I didn't know this school had a student council. That was a very melodramatic setup, though, just to tell me that. Pretty sure the two of them know this because Shizune looks a little embarrassed about it and Misha is laughing. Shizune quickly retakes the control of the discussion in a manner of speaking. After all, it's still Misha who has to voice whatever she says. Ha ha ha, Right. He-chan, maybe you should join the student council. They could use more people. Yes, definitely. You should definitely join. Why? Well, for one, we can hang out every day, He-chan. Shi-chan and I are both in the student council. Actually, Shi-chan is the president. I'm starting to get the suspicion that Shizune and Misha might not exactly be the most unbiased people to talk about this with. As if reading my mind, Shizune quickly adjusts her glasses and signs something to Misha. Ha ha ha, of course, we're not trying to get you to join just because we would obviously benefit from you joining student council and therefore have an incentive to try and get you to... So you're admitting that. Ha ha ha, no, we admit nothing. I mean, He-chan, of course, it would be nice if you joined and we'd appreciate it. But even without all that, joining the student council shows a healthy interest in the working of one school. Yep, it's true, Hee-chan. Besides, you don't want to spend Don't you want to spend time with us after school, Hee-chan? I can't tell if she's being genuine or if this is just really good acting. Both of them seem to be trying hard to look their cutest, although they are already pretty cute to begin with. Well... So it's settled then. Welcome to the student council, Hee-chan. What? No! Aw, see, Shi-chan? Of course it wouldn't go so easily. Yup, that's right. Though it would be boring if it went that smoothly. Oh well. Shi-chan owes me candy now. You were betting on it? Hey, my life is not a game here. Shizune seems very intrigued by this when Misha signs it to her. The aggressive glint returns to her eyes. Wahaha, that's interesting, Hee-chan. Let's play a game. That's not what I said. How about rich man, poor man, Hee-chan? If you lose, you have to join the student council. No, absolutely not. Aw, why not? Well, because you two both have the same incentive and therefore the same goal, which is get me to join student council, right? Yup! Yeah, that isn't my goal. But what this means is that both of you can team up and I'll be at a clear disadvantage. So, I will have to decline. Hee-chan, I'm very offended. Aren't you saying that you don't trust us and that we would pull something so disingenuous? That makes me sad. Sorry? It's hard to tell where Shizune's influence ends and Misha's thoughts begin. In order to atone for hurting a young girl's feelings, you should definitely join the student council. No! How about a game of paper football instead of rich man, poor man? Paper football? Yeah, it's a game they play in America. You make a paper triangle and you try to shoot it past goalposts the other player makes with their fingers. Isn't it cool? It's the ultimate form of competition between two people, Hee-chan. And it's also played by elementary and middle school children. Shi-chan? What? That means it's a game that really separates the boys from the men. More like the boys from the slightly older boys. Anyway, I'm not going to play that either. Just the fact that you know about it means you're probably surprisingly good at all. Ha ha ha, yeah, that's true. How'd you know, Hee-chan? Shizune frowns at Misha, telling me that she probably wasn't supposed to admit that so readily. I wouldn't say that I'm happy with their attempts to get me into student council, but I am a little curious about what the student council does here. I've never been one-on-one before, or even know anybody who has a member, so it interests me. I've never been on one before, whoops. It also kind of feels like Shizune and Misha, so maybe it wouldn't be that bad? Or I also kind of like Shizune and Misha. Okay, Hee-chan, how about Risk, the game of world domination? I don't even know what that is. It's really fun, Hee-chan. You fight for control of the world with armies and everything. Sounds like Shizune would be good at it. If you want to play, we can after school. Aw, really, Shi-chan? We can just play for fun, Hee-chan. Shi-chan hasn't played a long time, so if you want to, there are no strings attached. Well, okay. Okay, perfect! We'll see you after school in the student council room then, Hee-chan. Wait, why there? Because that's where we keep the game. Wahaha! I grimaced to tell them how much I don't like this, but it's more for show than anything. So in the end I agree, but only after getting Shizune to acknowledge that I don't mean anything concrete just by accepting to look around and play a game with her. Lunch ends and we go back to class. Oh, there she is again. During afternoon classes, the long-haired girl comes back and sits down in her seat without a word. Again, no one seems to notice, or if they do, no one says anything. I want to ask Misha about it, but I don't want to be nosy. After school, Shizune and Misha quickly find me by the first floor lobby and latch onto me, covering each flank in case I might try to escape. I feel a little offended, but I've been considering it. Nonetheless, I'm a bit disturbed that enough people have made a break for it in the past that they're on their guard. What's with the escort? This doesn't make me feel very comfortable. In fact, it makes me feel like a dangerous prisoner being transported to his cell. Wahaha, what's wrong, Hee-chan? That's right, we're just gonna go and play a game of Risk, remember? I don't know, Misha, this all seems a little sinister to me. I start thinking that when we sit down to play the game, they'll tie me down and torture me until I agree to join the student council. Well, that's highly unlikely, but still, for some reason it just feels like it would be so plausible. Getting to the student council room is as simple as turning 2 corners from where we started. What? That's it? This makes you guys so on top of me seem... This makes you guys being so on top of me seem a little silly. That's not true, Hee-chan. Shi-chan says that when their life is threatened, people have shown capability to pull off superhuman bursts of speed. life is threatened? Her expression unchanging, Misha signs something amusedly to Shizune, who makes a baffling face and puts her hand behind her back, looking pleased with herself. Misha feigns deafness and hums cheerily. Stop that, I know you heard me. You have no excuse, unlike Shizune. Shizune opens the door to the student council room. It's a very plain, sparsely decorated room, although it is quite large, maybe even a little larger than a classroom. There's a big table in the center surrounded by chairs and a smaller desk prominently placed in the back that I assume is Shizune's. There are a few regular desks and chairs stacked to one side as well. Extras, perhaps? Aside from the tables and chairs, the room doesn't have much else to offer, just a couple of fitting filing cabinets and bookshelves stacked with old school records and documents. Not much else. In fact, nothing else. This is a pretty bleak room. They could at least put a potted plant in here or something. But the most noticeable thing that this room doesn't have is other people. Are we early? No. What do you mean, no? Does it mean anybody else is coming today? Yeah, that's right. Before I managed to ask what the case, Shizune claps her hands together very energetically. Hee-chan, let's play Risk. Come on, you promised, didn't you? You have to. Ha ha ha, okay. You want to know the rules? We can explain to you while we set everything up. While Misha is talking, Shizune takes out what looks like a board game from behind one of the filing cabinets and throws it under the table. Actually, this looks kind of interesting. After Misha spends a little too long for her liking running through the basics with a somewhat vague and confusing tutorial, Shizune cuts in and declares the game has started with a decisive motion, slicing her arm through the air. Shizune's aggressiveness is rubbing off onto me. I started feeling more competitive than I intend to be when I agreed with this. I haven't played Risk before. Halfway into the game, while I try to ponder how to defend against Shizune's assault from two fronts, she breaks my concentration by drumming her fingers onto the table to get my attention. She-chan wants to know that you're taking too long to make a move. She-chan also says that she'll let you keep Australia if you agree to join the student council. I thought this was a game with no strings attached. Just the fact that she would dangle that over my head as an offer means that she knows that I care about the outcome of this game. And anyway, no. She-chan admires your fighting spirit and would be a benevolent dictator who will spare your people if you agree to join the student council. Ha 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 ha. You're so competitive, Shizune. She seems to take this as a compliment. I would expect the student council president to be a little more magnanimous. Magnanimous? She doesn't seem to know what the word means or how it's signed, so she pulls out a piece of paper and writes it for Shizune, who in return signs it back to Misha. Misha presses her index finger against her temples, as if trying to physically imprint the word into her memory. Suddenly, Shizune bursts into a flurry of gestures. Misha looks daunted by the pace of her heated signing. Wait, please slow down, Shi-chan. Shi-chan says you're gonna lose. Tell her I will crush her world empire with my rebellion. Okay. Those eyes of hers shine with childlike mischief. That's fucking adorable. Hold on, real quick. I have to take a screenshot of that. That's so cute. Hold on. There we go. Just gonna save that and hold on to it. What a cute PNG. Alright. Those eyes of hers shine with childlike mischief. She says you have no chance if you keep playing like this, you won't. Or she says that she says you have no chance if you keep playing like this. No, you won't. Oh god, really? If she's attacking from two fronts, playing defensively would be smarter. It's likely she's just trying to psych me out. Looking at the board again, I have a pretty good defense setup, so I'm not gonna wreck it doing something reckless. A few turns later, I lose the game anyway. Shizune adjusts her glasses victoriously and allows herself to tentatively pump a fist in the air in celebration. Wahaha, He-chan, you lost when you allowed me to take North America. I mean, Shi-chan, not me. Getting control of North America is ambitious, but it provides a 5 army bonus, but you can attack it from 3 fronts, so you must defend them all. Thought you'd have more guts. How disappointing. Ambition, He-chan, your play needs to be more daring. Ambition. I was really excited when you took South America, but then you switched to playing defensively just because you gained a small advantage. That's no good, He-chan. You didn't take enough risks, and when you did, you didn't follow through. That's terrible, He-chan. Damn, what's it to her if I played too carefully? There's no need to rub it in my face. Oh, Jesus. I wonder if you'd even be any good for the student council. What's this, reverse psychology? I guess I don't have to worry about joining or not in that case. Giving up just like that? I expected more of you. Seriously, is Shizune trying to taunt me into joining the council? Besides, I don't even want to join. It's only my second day. I can't make that kind of commitment. I haven't even taken a look at any other clubs yet, and these two, they're a little weird. Fine, I'll consider joining the council, but I want to take a look at the other clubs before I decide. Really, Hee-chan? You're not just saying that to make us feel better? Yeah, I'm just not sure what I want to. I'm just not sure that I want to. Aww. Okay, Hee-chan, but we're not going to give up so easily. You said maybe. There's still a chance you'll come around. Come on, we could really have fun. We should play more Risk one day, and maybe you could beat us, unless we graduate before that. That doesn't make me feel any less reluctant about joining, you know. Wahaha, surely you're not that terrible at board games. Maybe we can play a game you know then, give you a handicap. I might have said that just to make you feel better after all. Aw, that's cold, Hee-chan. I take a glance at the clock on the wall and realize I spent far longer playing Risk than I expected. Sorry, I think I have to go. I wanted to go to the library. It's not closed yet, is it? Shizune scratches her head and gestures at Misha. How hard can it be to determine whether the library is open? There's a clock right there on the wall. It should be, unless the librarian is absent. I think you're right, Shi-chan. We think the library is open. It's on the second floor, can't miss it. Do you want us to show you where it is? No thanks, it's okay. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye! One flight of stairs up and I run into problems. Second floor hallway is a carbon copy of the third floor one. Wide, of course, and plain. The only hallways, like only hallways can be. Problem is, the library's whereabouts are not as easily determined as one would think. Classrooms are marked with signs stating which class they belong to, but then there's a plethora of other unmarked rooms. Is the library one of them, or is it just somewhere down the hallway? I bend on the ladder and choose my direction at random. After I turn around the corner, an unmarked door draws my attention because it's not closed. It's not open either, though, just barely ajar so that I can see it's open and nothing else. It would make sense for the library door to be invitingly open, and while this one is not quite that, it's good enough. At the very least, it means that someone is inside and I can ask for directions, no matter how embarrassing that is. I gingerly push on the center of the door with my fingertips, every muscle in my arm ready to pull back at a moment's notice. The feeling of being an outsider at this school can't be shaken from my mind, so much that I instinctively fear doing something wrong by entering. The door slowly creaks as if groaning from a deep sleep, though it was much easier to open than I anticipated. Leaning over and poking my head even further inside, to gain sight of the room as fast as possible, the meek hello on my lips is quickly snatched away. She looks like Yang. I love her immediately. This is not what I was expecting. I mindlessly let the door open to its full extent, taking in the sight of the solitary figure taking center stage in the otherwise abandoned room. The situation steals my voice, leaving me standing at the doorway staring at the beautiful girl. Evidently having taken her time to assess the situation, the girl gently pulls down her teacup and opens her eyes, but doesn't look at me. Hello there. May I help you? Staring directly in front of herself, the movements of her lips seem to break the silence rather than the words. However, it's the soft, measured voice that reminds me she's a being separate from the room itself. Not only is she likely the tallest girl I've ever laid eyes on, but even among the foreigners I've met, she's strikingly distinct. Damn, Yang's eyes are purple. Almost. Very close. Not only... Okay. Hi, sorry for intruding. I just kind of lost. She takes a moment to formulate a response before speaking. Every action she takes feels as if she's carefully choreographed beforehand. Care to take a seat? Unexpected, considering that I'm intruding upon her. Thanks. I slowly step towards another seat opposite of her, the girl resting the teacup on the saucer on the wooden table in between. The way she doesn't track my movements with her head is telling. That, and the slight cloudiness in her eyes, means she could be at least partially blind like Kenji. Come to think of it, her voice doesn't have any detectable accent either. I guess she must be half Japanese. As I take my seat, her composure takes me slightly off guard. Her air of relaxed confidence makes the silence entirely comfortable. The calming atmosphere is so very different from the student council office. I take it that you're a new student to Yamaku? Yeah, I just transferred in yesterday. I get the distinct feeling my speech patterns don't match the formality of hers, accentuated by her restrained bow of greeting. One which I hasten to match before realizing the futility of the action. I am Lily Sato. Pleased to meet you. Hisao Nakai. She gives a nod before gesturing roughly in the direction of her teacup. Would you care for a drink? Sure. As much as it pains me, I can't step with her formality in the proceedings. Or I can't keep step with her formality. I have to keep an eye on my phone because I'm expecting mail. That's not mail. That's not mail. Oh, my assignment due date got changed. That's exciting. Dude, I've had the last 2 days of school off. Feels nice. And tomorrow I only have 1 class instead of 2. So that's even better. She gives me a kind nod, taking the request in stride. Without another word, she steps off the chair and prepares a second cup of tea from a collection of supplies laid out along a shelf. A brush here, a brush there, her left hand often lightly touching the side of whichever container she's pouring into. It seems to be a process she's followed dozens of times before. Guessing OCD. As I lean sideways to see around her back, she seems to use her long, dainty finger to measure the right amount of water in the cup. Oh no, okay. It's one thing to see the different disabilities the students in my class have, but it's quite another to see how everyone seems to adapt. Shizune and Misha have no problem working together to communicate to me, and Lily herself seems to have workarounds for problems I'd never thought of. While I feel slightly guilty about her doing the work, it seems she's pleased to be following the correct process of the offerer preparing the drink. So, her soft voice brings me out of my silent observance. Which room are you looking for? It's not often this classroom is visited after school. I love her! Oh, Jesus Christ. Knock shit off my desk. The school library. Shizune and me, I mean some classmates, told me it was on this floor. She finishes pouring water into the teacup as she nods, a small metallic tapping coming from the teacup indicating it's being stirred. Are we in Get Out? Is that what's going on? Is she gonna like stir the cup weird and I'm gonna be mind controlled? I'm aware of Miss Hakamichi, as are most students. To be with them means you're in class 3-3, no? That's right, in the science room of Muto. She gives a small giggle before setting down the teaspoon and slowly walking towards the table, teacup and saucer in hand. He's quite the character. I imagine you'll come to like him. Most do. I love her! As she sets down the tea, I gently take it and have a sip. I'm really more of a coffee person, but this seems like a rather bad moment to bring it up. Nonetheless, the smell's quite nice. I hardly think it'd be hard to choke down. Thanks, Sato. It tastes really nice. She smiles and quickly waves her hand in front of her face. Lily, please, there's no need to be too formal, she says in spite of her exceedingly well-bred speech. Oh well. I guess I should try and ask her about herself, as it really does seem as if she's catering to me. So, which class are you from? I imagine it's not one of the third-year classes. Correct. I'm in class 3-2, which is on the 3rd floor, same as yours. It's taught by Miyagi. Mr. Miyagi? And it's specifically for both blind and partially blind students. I see. Sorry. I feel like slapping myself with a faux pas. Looking at her face, though, she doesn't seem at least a bit put off by it. My, there's no need to change your speech on my account. I fucking love her. Sure, sorry. I guess I'm really showing my newness here. An environment like this would be a big change, so I can't fault you for it. While the same can be said for everyone, many have come in terms with their conditions. Category which would include her, it seems. All too ready to jump ship from this particular topic, I segue into another. Is that how you spell that? Is that how you spell segue? Oh shit. My doctor called me, right? Right? And then when I answered and said hello, they hung up. What the fuck? That was really stupid. Why the fuck did it do that? Do you come here to drink tea often? It's a really nice place. Thinking on it, this might be her version of the place behind my school that I like to have lunch at. I come here fairly often during lunchtimes. My duties as class representative don't leave me enough time for an official club, so a friend and I use this room for having tea. Class representative, huh? Compared to Shizune, her mannerisms seem to be almost completely opposite. While Shizune is blunt and fiercely driven, Lily seems relaxed and calm, almost aloof. Come to think of it, she might be useful for a less biased view of the school's clubs. What kind of clubs are there to join? The more popular ones are the track and field club, which uses the field near the school during lunch times, the baseball club, and the book club in a room near the library. There are also numerous small ones too, such as the art and music clubs. At a time when I'm just wanting to get off my feet, rushing into a club right away seems slightly unappealing. I wonder if this school shares the same rule as my old one. Is it compulsory to join a club? It isn't, though it is encouraged. Ah, good, that's a relief. I really let down my guard around this girl to let such a thing slip out. The fact seems to slightly amuse her. Not wanting the tea to get cold, I finally start drinking it as Lily does the same. You know what? I'm also taking a screenshot of Lily's face there because it's really cute. Just gonna grab that. Lily. Loving this. It's only been about an hour and 15 minutes and I'm loving this. As I look over the window over her shoulder, I notice the light coming to the room has a distinctively orange tint. Even here, time doesn't stand still. Huh? The time's gone quickly. Sorry? Right. She's blind. Of course she can't see the sun setting. It just looks like the sun is starting to set. It seems to come as a surprise for her. I guess she must have lost track of the time. Sorry, Hisao. I didn't mean to keep you from the library for so long. I quickly moved to allay her concern. Ah, no, it's okay. The library's still open, isn't it? She pauses and takes a moment to think on it. Probably something I should have asked Shizune when I had the chance, but Lily seems likely to know in any case. Oh my goodness. True, it is open until 6:30 during weekdays. Quick glance at my watch confirms I have well enough time to get there. I might get going in that case. It's been nice talking to you, Lily. She smiles and gives a deep nod, her hands still neatly folded on the table in front of her. It was my pleasure. Oh, come to think of it, shall I show you to where the library is? Couldn't possibly ask for more help. I should be able to find it alright. Well, unless my navigational skills fail me, which they seem to have a habit of doing. It's alright. I was going to be talking to the librarian there in any case. I could introduce you. This gets better and better. It's pretty hard to deny her offer. If you're sure, then that'd be great. Thanks. As she stands up to follow me, she takes hold of a straight, retractable cane that has been slipped in the handle of her bag on the floor. Compared to the cane the boy had in the class had, Lily's looks much thinner and longer. His must be for support, where Lily's is for navigation. I like this music. Together we leave the peaceful room and enter the empty hallway on the way to the library. Side by side, my pace carefully slowed to match hers. We slowly walk through the hallway. Doesn't take long for us to arrive at the door to the warm-looking room, apparently situated in the center of the floor rather than either wing. Ladies first. She gives an appreciative smile at the gesture, taking the lead as we file in. To the left of the wooden library counter, where the library proper is being on the right. It easily dwarfs my old school's library, with the distinct smell of old books giving the place an almost old-world air. There don't seem to be a lot of students here. Considering the time, this isn't a big surprise. Everyone's probably either in the school grounds or the dorms. Yuko, are you here? She says it to thin air, since the librarian doesn't seem to be present, and of course Lily can't see this. What unexpected is that it draws a reaction. Something from under the counter thuds against it, followed by a quiet wail. Aww. Oh, I love her too! God damn it! Fuck. The origin, apparently from the librarian, quickly crawls out and bounces up to extremely rigid attention. Hi, Lily. How can I help you? Her voice is strained in a failing attempt to sound casual as she's rubbing the back of her head. Good afternoon. What happened just now? I heard a strange sound. It's nothing. I just hit my head. See, I dropped an eraser under my desk, and I was looking for it. A pencil dropped, and I was looking for both of you, and when you came in, it surprised me. Are you alright? I'm sorry. I couldn't know. It's okay. Sorry for making you worry. This is nothing. I've had worse happen to me. She's quick to reserve Lily's apologies, almost frantically trying to push aside the possibility that she could be in any way inconvenienced by bashing her head on the counter. Yes, worse things have happened. The girl fidgets with her fingers as Lily doesn't seem to drop her concerned expression. And then she shuffles some papers around on the counter for no reason. A little shorter than Lily, replete with glasses, freckles, and a very troubled look, she seems to fit a library perfectly. Ah, Lily, did you get my message? Message? Oh, the 2 imported books that arrived? Right, they finally came. I can't believe it took so long, but... Amidst her celebrations, partially for managing to change the topic, I'm sure, she notices me from the corner of her eye and freezes on the spot when she does. Oh no, I'm sorry for not noticing you before. Did you need to check out a book or return one? I'm sorry. The way she can so quickly shift between moods is a little unsettling. He's with me, Yuko. This is Hisao, a new student. Hisao, this is Yuko, the school librarian. Pleased to meet you. Hisao, right? Hisao. Pleased to meet you too, Hisao. For a second, she visibly attempts to engrave the name on her mind so she won't forget. Yuko often arranges important foreign books in Braille for me. Would you like to tell Hisao a little something about the library? Lily's innocent suggestion is met with an expression of abject terror. I please, Lily, I can't. I don't know what he could be interested in. This is too much responsibility. How is it any responsibility at all? I don't get. But her objection is so sincere that I don't doubt for a second that she would rather disembowel herself on the spot than tell me where the light novels are. But, so there are a lot of books of Braille here? I attempt to save the day by asking the first thing that pops into my head. Seems that to work partially at least, as Yuko seems to not exactly relax, but at least look slightly less tense. Well, I think about a third or fourth of Yamaku's library is either in Braille or audio. Makes sense, given all the blind students that would be here. If it's only that, how come this library is so big in the first place? Well, we get a lot of new books regularly because the library is adequately endowed. That's probably why. I spend more on new books than on my salary, and then I have to organize and shelve all of them. It's so troublesome and they weigh so much, I wish I could quit this job. Very awkward silence follows this revelation of too much information. I'll go check the aisles then if you don't mind. Probably best for all of us that she doesn't keep talking to me. Very well. Meanwhile, Yuko, I would have those books if it's alright with you. My first impression was right. The library is surprisingly big. Ambling down the narrow aisles, I study the spines of books in random order, occasionally sliding one out to read the blurb, taking it with me if it looks good. A few moments, I have a respectable stack of books in my arms. I guess I'll never be stuck for choice here. The normality of the library sinks in. Sure, there are large print and Braille books scattered throughout, but it is what it is, a library. It's as if the calm mood from the room I had tea with Lillian snuck with us in here, unless it was here to begin with. Something about that puts me at ease, just like before. I reach the end of the aisle and find a collection of desks set up for study or personal reading. Going a little further, though, I discover a neat, quiet corner in the back. While the rest of the library has the odd student sitting at a desk, either reading or stealthily sleeping, I press right-click. The back is pretty much deserted. Excuse me. As I glance around, I see someone who I recognize sitting on one of the several beanbags. Yes! It's a dark-haired girl from my class, the one who snuck out of the classroom earlier. She's reading a book, keeping it close to her face, which makes it look like she's really into it. By the way she was acting today, I had her pegged as more of a delinquent than a bookworm. In fact, her mysterious disappearance from the class raises all sorts of whys in my head. Intrigue floats slowly but surely towards the surface, and before I know it, I'm walking towards the mysterious long-haired girl. I guess there's no harm in introducing myself as I would with anyone else. She's a classmate after all. Walking over to another beanbag, I take a seat and lay my books beside it. The girl starts, looking scaredly up at me from underneath her fringe. This is the first time I've seen her this close. Underneath her long, dense bangs, I can see that part of her face. At least a third, if not half, is pretty badly scarred. My eyes are immediately drawn to the scars, subconsciously peeking past her hair until they meet her own eyes. For a second, I am shocked and divert my eyes to the book in her hands, before I realize that looking away probably only makes it worse. It takes too many seconds to collect myself and remember what I walked up to her for. I'm gonna say I'm sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. It's okay. The girl certainly doesn't look like it's okay, but I let it slide. So, do you mind if I sit here? She seems to be very uncertain whether it's okay or not for me to sit, but finally she nods, but just a little. Oh, okay. I take the seat next to her, and she hides herself behind her book. Life of Pi. Never heard of it. So, sorry for startling you again. I'm Hasao. She looks up from her book, stalling a little before replying. No. We are in the same class. Her speech is stilted and so quiet that it's barely audible even in the still library. Somehow I think my delinquent impression of her was wrong. Hanako. I'm Hanako. I resist the urge to say that's a nice name just to have something to say, but really, it's the only thing I can think of. I feel like an idiot. Everyone here must be so different to each other, and here I am being all bothered and fussed about that kind of thing. Excuse me. Don't let me interrupt your reading. I'll just check these books if you don't mind. She nods a little and sighs a sigh of relief. So I try to read the covers and the introduction to the books I picked up, and she buries her face in the book. Uncomfortable silence consumes us. My eyes still wander to her direction, and I sneak peeks at her flowing hair and the scars she's hiding. After a while, I realize that she's doing the same and only pretending to be immersed in life of pi. Her gaze is not inquisitive at all, though. It darts around like a scared rabbit. When our gazes finally meet, the chain reaction is unstoppable. She stands up forcefully from the beanbag and takes a deep breath. I gotta go do something. Without warning, Hanako takes off and runs towards the counter. Her hair-like takeoff catches me so off guard that I don't manage to go after her until she has a good head start. By the time I reach the counter, she's nowhere to be seen. Lily and Yuko are happily chatting away. Knowing that I won't be able to catch Hanako myself, I approach the girls. Hey, did you notice a girl run past here? Maybe. What did she look like? Long dark hair, kind of shy. She had, well, some scars on her face. You wouldn't be talking about Hanako, would you? Yeah, that's her. I saw her reading and tried to talk to her, but I think I scared her off or something. Oh dear, Yuko, excuse me, I better try and find her. Sure, I'll just hold on to these until you come back. What's going on? I'm sorry, but I'll have to explain it to you some other time. Alright, see you later then. Lily hastily grabs her cane and hurries out of the library, leaving me alone with Yuko. I don't think I'll ever get the hang of this place. Did I do something wrong? What did you do? Nothing, I was just looking for some books and she got this fit and ran off. The most offended thing I could think of was when I might have looked at her general direction a few times. Well, she is a very timid girl. You have to be very careful around her. She can be very jumpy, I think, and she's not accustomed to talking with other people. Isn't that a bit strange? I wonder. It's just how she is, I think. Yuko doesn't sound at all that convincing. Then again, maybe this is just the norm around here. Everyone has their own problems or else they wouldn't be here. But how should I deal with these people? Forcing myself to act overly casually only makes me feel phony. Just like I was supposed to be ignoring the elephant in the room. Yuko fidgets, looking like she wanted to say something to that, but resists it. I think it's elephant only if you feel that way. I guess she doesn't have a good sense of self-restraint. Makes me smile and she blushes heavily. I'm grabbing a fan and putting it at my feet because it's hot as tits in this room right now. I'm gonna turn it on low though. There we go. Well, what? Did that sound stupid? No, it actually sounded really wise. I guess you're right. More about me than anyone else. Neither of us had anything to add, so Yuko fills the silence by shuffling some papers around. Dude, I like almost threw up. People who have papers on their desks really like doing that. Did you find any books? I should be closing soon. I mean, this library should be closing, but I have to do it. I hope that's not too inconvenient for you. Oh, yeah, I want some books, but I left them over there because I'll just go get them. I fetched my stack of books from beside the beanbags where Hanako and I were sitting and returned to the counter. Wow, you read a lot, don't you? I surprised myself with that too, honestly. At least when I really think about it. I had a lot of the free time earlier this year, so I just kind of started reading books to fill that time. Couldn't do much else. I see. But she didn't seem to say anything else, and just checks out my books for me. I guess that's what they call tact. Holding the library books with one arm, I trawl my pocket for the key to the door. A sudden sound from behind startles me, making me nearly drop the books I'm carrying, or the key that I almost managed to get into the lock. Who is it? Oh. I turn around to see who is talking to me. It's Kenji. Seems to be in a friendly mood, although the light glinting off his glasses in the dark gives him a sinister look. It's just me. This makes him pause and lick his lips nervously. Who is me? I don't know anyone to call me. Are you some new guy again? His voice is suddenly strained and quick. Yes, but we've met before. Yesterday. I don't think so. I remember someone who I only met yesterday. When was it? What day is it today? I try to ignore him. Is he joking or what? Prove that we've met before. You live across the hall. You're Kenji. Kenji jumped back, his eyes filled with uncomprehending fear. I'm taking a screenshot of that face too. I should just have my snipping tool open at all times. Just gonna grab that. Nope, that wasn't good. Try again. There we go. Kenji. How do you know my name? Damn, this can only mean one of two things. Either we have met, or you're telling the truth and I just can't remember it, or you are a spy. Pauses. A psychic spy. His eyes dart around me, trying to peek into my room, although it's hard to believe he can see anything through those thick glasses. His mood swung from friendly to maniac in less than a minute. I'm not psychic. How do I know that? I'm not a mind reader. Kenji points a finger at my face damningly. Unlike you! Stop that, man. We met yesterday. What's wrong with you? I live in this room. Lies. If you think you can pass this Hisao, but because I'm legally blind, you are sorely mistaken. You don't even look like him. I mean, the resemblance is real slim, maybe at a distance, but who do you think you're kidding? I want to grab him by the shoulders and shake him. Exasperated, I rub my eyes and let out a heavy sigh. Stay there. Kenji comes closer, one careful step at a time. I stay still lest he assault me physically, although I doubt he could do much damage if he did. Oh wait, I see it now. Damn, it really is you. Sighing again, I then once again, for good measure, I step backwards, just in case. What's up, man? You don't look too good, I think. Something wrong? I don't know, just had something stupid happen to me. A few stupid things, actually, even if you just count this one. Can't get a proper touch on people here, and I have no idea if it's because of me or because of them. I don't know why I'm telling it to Kenji. It's not like we've had any contact either. That's rough, dude. Yeah, I'm sorry calling you a psychic spy and all, but you can never be too careful. It's the hard reality we live in. I'm slowly starting to think that Kenji isn't necessarily living in the same reality as the rest of us. You see, that's how it is, this world. There's no justice, you see. Even when I lose, I win because I don't lose the lesson. What does that even mean? It doesn't matter. He dismisses it flatly with a wave of his hand. So what happened? Why the long face? Do you have a long face? It's nothing. I just scared some girl off accidentally. Literally, too. She actually ran away from me. It was my fault, really, I think. I'm not really used to all this yet. A girl? A cute one? Cute? That's a hard question. She had a nice body and really beautiful hair, but the face... I guess it could go either way. She is cute. Fuck you. She was adorable. Yeah, cute, I guess. I knew it! There are a lot of cute girls here, a strangely disproportionate amount. I believe that this is one of the dark secrets of this school. I tried to warn you, man, but did you listen? I don't remember any such warning. Dark secrets? Sorry, I gotta... Trying to say, I love this interaction in general. This is hilarious. Yes, dark secrets. Extremely dark, like a black hole. Have you noticed that the number of girls in this school is slightly but significantly higher than the number of boys? It's like 60-40. He turns his head to the left and stares off into the distance at nothing. Why is it like this? I mean, to the untrained eye, it doesn't appear to be that bad, but that's a full 20%. One would think that the school with such a large pool of women would be a man's dream, but no. What I'm about to tell you could blow your mind. Are you ready? I don't know where this is going, but I don't think I won't be missing much by cutting out now. No, I am not ready. I only get as far as turning the doorknob before Kenji starts talking again, showing that he really doesn't care if my mind is blown or not. I believe that this school is a battleground, a site of feminist infiltration. The disparity in the number of men to women is a clear sign of how far they have come. In case the Cold War turns hot, they will have superiority in numbers. What is this music? Just another skirmish in the eternal war against the forces of the feminists. They're everywhere. In Japan, women outnumber men. It's not a 60-40 split, but it's only a matter of time, man. Even in America, women are the majority by a hair. They're building up their numbers. In the past, the buildup of a military has only been the clearest sign of imminent war. Japan is just the first step. Our economy is badass, and the country itself is small and isolated, yet a huge part of the Pacific in terms of political value. It's perfectly target. They're so cunning, as expected of women. Soon the day will come when... Kenji's voice trails off ominously. That is why you can't trust them. They will string you along and then kill you, just as they killed me. You will end up just like me. Oh, hell no. Can't stop myself from blurting it out. Hey, what the hell does that mean? You said it, not me. This is ridiculous. It's the best I can think of. So, you're not supposed to say something like that? Damn, so rude. Where was I? Oh yes, the fast feminist conspiracy. Stop it, stop! I lost you way back there somewhere. Somewhere around feminist infiltration. Too hard to follow? It's cool. I've got some graphs and stuff in my room. And puppets. You like puppets? No puppets. You don't like puppets, okay. Graphs are cool though. Still cool though, right? He speaks energetically, responding almost before I'm done talking, moving his hands in an animated way as he continues to rant on. This is too strange. I had him pegged as relatively normal, but it's clear that I was wrong. Something on your mind, dude? Just thinking about what it's like to be the last sane man in an insane world. Kenji frowns, looking deeply upset. You mean that's you? That can't be, because I'm the last sane man in an insane world. That's my dream, and you can't just steal a man's dream. What the hell? There can't be two last sane men. That would invalidate the whole last part. And that part is kind of important. There can only be one, like in that foreign movie where there can only be one. And in the end, there's only one dude left, because that was the point. I've never seen anyone talk so heatedly and so defensively about absolutely nothing before. Alright, screenshotting that text bubble. I've never seen anyone talk so heatedly and so defensively about absolutely nothing before. Holding on to that. I'm probably going to turn some of these people's faces into emotes, I swear. Anyway, if you wait here, I can get my graphs. I also have a list of other dark and complex conspiracies that this school holds as tangled as... Quick, finish my analogy for me. Be a pal. I'm going to go to bed now. It is extremely late. That doesn't sound like an analogy, but whatever. I like you. You seem to be a cool dude. Most people don't understand what I'm talking about when I try to explain the vast feminist conspiracy to them. Denial is a terrible thing. Later. He clasps me on the back and then vanishes into his room so quickly and quietly, it's like he didn't even open the door, but instead walked right through it like a ghost. I don't know if I can fully digest what just happened, so I give up and just go to my room, kicking off my shoes before falling face first into the bed. It takes me some time to relax, and I get up so I can get started on homework. It's because the sheets are cool and comforting against my cheeks. It feels good just lying there with my eyes closed. School's like some kind of bizarre and surreal island. It's isolated on top of a mountain, and each person is stranger than the last. But I just can't seem to fit in. What irony. One would think that fitting in a place is made for people who are unfit for anywhere would be easy. Maybe I'm trying too hard. Although I say that, it doesn't help take the edge off, and the words are left echoing off the empty walls. Guess it's not as bad as I expected, though. This place really is more a school and less a hospital, pretending it's a school than I thought it would be. If nothing else, the scenery's beautiful. I open one eye, seeing the school books and bottles of pills arranged side by side on my desktop. Maybe this place is too much like a normal school after all. I like this so far. Is it time for Act 2? Nope. I feel very tired this morning, probably because yesterday itself was a very tiring day. On top of that, I woke up far earlier than necessary. After saying hi to Shizune and Misha, I started doing the work as instructed from the board. It already looks like today is going to be heavy. I don't have a problem with that now, though. Shizune and Misha might jump on me trying to get an answer about whether or not I've decided to join the student council, even if it's just one day. I wouldn't put it past them to try. I don't even have an answer for them if they do, so the situation is convenient for me. About 10 minutes into class, Hanako walks in and takes a seat, but no one looks at her. The teacher doesn't even comment on her lateness. He does, however, stop us to say that we're going to break into groups again. I turn my head to see that Shizune and Misha are looking at me. Shizune gives me a smile that is equal parts cute and menacing. This is a smile that says, "We have you now, there is no escape." He-chan, looks like we're together again. Yay, yay! Misha leans sideways while Shizune pushes her desk closer to mine. There really is no escape now unless I were to jump through the window. Jumping out the window isn't the best option, sadly. What's wrong, He-chan? Oh, He-chan, have you been thinking about what you said yesterday? You said that you would think about joining the student council, didn't you? It's okay, He-chan. We were talking about it after you left, and it would be rude to expect you to have an answer so early for us. What? We were talking about it after you left, and it would be rude to expect you to have an answer for us this early, right? Right. Ha 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 ha. I'm so happy that you two were able to have a laugh at my expense, and even more pleased that you know I'm so happy that you... Jesus Christ! I'm so happy you two were able to have a laugh at my expense, and even more pleased to know that you both know how crazy the two of you can be. Now that that's over, Shizune snaps back into serious mode and smacks today's assignment with the back of her hand in an overly dramatic and important way. It's like Phoenix Wright, you know, it's like when he hits the paper with his hand. When I actually look at all this stuff, it's mostly just reading. In fact, there are only two problems. I always want to say something about how her rush to get started seems a bit much, considering how small amount of work. In fact, Shizune probably knows how little there is and simply doesn't care. Yeah, it seems like that the workload doesn't matter to her as much as the fact that there is work. The actual amount is unimportant. She approaches everything with the same level of ambition. While reading, I let my eyes wander around the room and catch Hanako trying her hand at solving the problems. It looks like she's working alone. I can't remember seeing her working with other people before. Thinking back to how shy she is, it's understandable. Hey, that girl over there. Huh? Who, He-chan? Her, Hanako, over there. Does she always work alone? I think so, He-chan. Do you feel sorry for her because she's alone? I was just thinking that maybe she could work with us or something. No, I don't think that would be a good idea, He-chan. Why not? She-chan wouldn't get along with her. Why? Misha shuffles around the question, letting out a laugh that sounds very strange. It's nervous, but still has that lilting up and down quality present in everything she says. Just because, He-chan. By now, Shizune has noticed our conversation, and it makes me realize again how Misha has been signing everything she has been saying this whole time. What, Shi-chan? The friend of my enemy is my enemy? That sounds so harsh. I'm not going to say that. You said it anyway. I know, He-chan. It's fine if you overhear. I wonder if this is Misha's way of keeping things fair, since without her, I wouldn't be able to understand a thing Shizune is saying. And vice versa. Jesus Christ. Is that also why she signs all the time, so there's never a conversation Shizune will be left out of? Anyway, we should start on the problems now, He-chan. I feel sorry for her! God damn it. Ooh, cheery music. We finish with time to spare, and I decide to ask if there are any alternatives to the cafeteria, as frankly, the food so far has been subpar. This sends Shizune and Misha arguing among themselves about their favorite restaurants. All of them are downtown, so I don't think we have time to go all the way there. And what about the bill? Are they arguing just for the fun of it? Maybe. They seem so distracted by it that they don't even notice the start of the actual lunch break. I look over my shoulder towards the back of the classroom. She seems to be studying her notes from the previous class. It's an odd sight. Everyone else in the class is busying themselves with lunch break. Socializing, gossiping, rearranging desks, the ones with actual box lunches mixed in and chattering like everyone else, only interrupted by short bouts of eating. But when I watch Hanako, it feels like I'm the only one who could see her, almost as if she was invisible, sort of hiding in plain sight. Is she being bullied? Is she isolating herself from the rest of the class on her own accord? I see her look over her shoulder towards the classroom's rear door. Come to think of it, she hasn't turned a page since I've started watching her. I guess she's waiting for someone. What to do? They talked to her. I still feel bad for making her run away yesterday, so I better say something. Hey there, Hanako. Hisao? Well, at least she remembers my name. Hey, I just wanted to apologize for yesterday. I didn't mean to startle you or anything. I'm just new here, and I thought I should get to know my classmates. As Hanako looks up to me, I notice her scarring once more. It's a little bewildering that you can barely notice it from across the room, but it's so noticeable from close up. That's okay. It was my fault. Nah, that wasn't anyone's fault. It just kind of happened. So are you waiting for someone? I saw you looking at the door before. Yes, Lily. Oh, you mean Lily the blind girl? Hanako only nods in response, and I can't help but wonder if defining people through their disability is a faux pas or a faux pas of the worst kind, or just normal here. Do I not know what a faux pas means? I'm gonna have to Google that real quick. Hold on. Faux pas. An embarrassing or tactless act or remark in a social situation. Okay. I did not know it meant that. I thought it was like a Freudian slip, like a slip of the tongue. I guess that explains why Lily took off after her yesterday. She seems like a nice girl. Are you two friends? Yes. As if hoping for Lily to appear, she checks over her shoulder again. I think I'm making her nervous again. I hope I'm not disturbing you right now. No, that's not it. It's just easier if Lily doesn't come here. Oh, because it's hard to get around the classroom? Not really. Hanako's gaze drifts past my shoulder and towards Shizune. Shizune? Hanako nods again. What about her? Don't they get along? Hanako shakes her head. Clearly this is something she doesn't want to talk about. Doesn't make a strange sort of sense. Shizune and Lily not getting along so well. Communication between the two would be all but impossible. It's hard enough talking to Shizune through Misha, even when you can see whose hands are talking. Hanako is so focused on Shizune that I am the first to notice Lily at the door. Oh, she's here now. Hanako spins around to confirm this. Upon seeing Lily, she quickly moves to the door. Lily. Ah, Hanako, good morning. Is the president here? Yes. Hanako glances over her shoulder at Shizune again, as if to confirm she can't hear them, even though that's impossible. I suppose we'd best be off then. Lily's sigh and tone of what seems like frustration makes me raise an eyebrow. I guess there's some kind of enmity between the two. It's intriguing, but that's not really something I'd ask about. I'm sure if they wanted me to know, they would tell me. It's only my third day here. I should be trying to make friends, not finding out why people are enemies. Still, it's a little funny to find out that the school has little feuds, just like my old high school. Even if people are more tolerant than others, they're still going to get on each other's nerves. Hey Lily, how are things? I'm sorry I made you run off yesterday. Oh my, is that Hisao? I didn't realize you were here. It seems that Lily is a little embarrassed for being so frank in front of me. So sorry, Lily, I thought you realized. No, it's alright, Hanako. Hisao, please don't worry about yesterday. It was just a misunderstanding. If you say so, I'm still working this place out. Well then, I think you'll find most people here are more forgiving than elsewhere. If you're feeling a little confused, please don't be afraid to ask questions. Sure, I'll remember that. Lily? Lily gives a small nod of acknowledgement. I'm sorry, Hisao, but we must be off. Hanako doesn't really look all that comfortable here right now, and Lily still seems a little embarrassed. I wonder if my apologies really made any impact. Mind if I accompany you two? I know I'm kind of pushing it, but Lily hums quietly, still smiling. I'm sure that we could accommodate you, can't we, Hanako? She looks at Lily and then at me, and then she freezes, wide-eyed. Sure. Well then, shall we go? I'm sure Lily wouldn't do this so easily if she saw how scared Hanako looks, but it can't be helped now. Declining after the deal is sealed will only cause confusion and problems. So we leave, all three together. Lily walks beside the wall, letting her cane tap gently against it every now and then. Hanako comes right along beside her, so close that she's practically half hugging her as they go. Although it must take her walking that much better, Lily takes it in stride. As we turn around the corner in the hallway, something hits me in the chest with the force of a steam train. Hanako shrieks a little as my vision briefly goes black. Ouch. Well, she looks like, what's her name from Doki Doki, the pink-haired girl. The pink-haired bookworm girl, the tsundere one. The fuck is her name? I'm blanking on it. I'm Googling it. Hold on. Natsuki. That's the one. Kind of reminds me of Natsuki. Opening my eyes, I see a pair of saucer-like green eyes looking up at me. Oh! They belong to the perpetrator, a short girl who bumped into me and has now fallen down onto the hallway floor. She wears a PE uniform and a very worried frown. The former strikes me as a rather strange thing to have on during a lunch break. More striking than that, though, is that she doesn't have legs. Or that she does, but they're not flesh and bone. Her pale and very much flesh and bone thighs end in shins and feet made of some black metallic or plastic-like material. They look disturbingly artificial and unnatural. It almost makes me forget that my chest is hurting. The girl winces a little, rubs her nose, and jumps up. Aw, man, hey, are you alright? I'm sorry about that, really. I wasn't looking where I was going, and you just came out of nowhere. Sorry. She's looking really apologetic in a hurt puppy way of looking apologetic. I quickly forget about being angry or anything, since hurt puppies are my weak spot. It's okay, don't worry about it. Ow. I say that, but there's a stinging pain growing in my chest, and I know that this is about the biggest possible danger for my condition. Don't overexert yourself, don't forget your medication, and first and most of all, don't get hit in the chest. I try to rub my solar plexus to chase the pain away, holding my breath in an attempt to hear my heartbeat. Oh boy. Seems normal. Hey, should I get a nurse? The worried, high-pitched voice of the girl snaps me out of it. I stare at her for a few seconds dumbfounded until I realized that I probably looked worse off than I really was, doubled over myself and looking all tense. Damn, I overly worried about my heart. No need, I'm fine. Managing to say something in response, I pull myself upright, feeling my sore ribs one last time, and take a deep breath. She just knocked the wind out of me. Big time, but it's nothing more than that. You sure you're okay? I hit you pretty hard. It's okay. I said I was fine and nothing's broken. No harm done. That's good. Hisao, what happened? She's not quite up to speed for obvious reasons, but she sounds very worried. More than what the situation deserves, really. Someone just bumped into me. Nothing serious. Just winded. Sorry, it's my fault. I was just going to get some stuff and I was kind of in a hurry. That someone here is Emmy, isn't it? The little girl coughs quietly and shuffles on her plastic or metallic feet, looking down at them before saying anything. Lily, Hanako. Hi, Lily, Hanako. Now, I guess the girls know each other. Do please try to be more careful. You might be sturdy enough to endure these sorts of accidents, but there are people who aren't. Oh. The girl blushes and starts to fidget nervously like a little child caught misbehaving. It's so cute, I find myself smiling. I know that. I was just... I gotta go. Teacher will have my head. I promised to help with the printouts, and I went on running instead. Sorry, I gotta change and everything. Before any of us can say a thing, Emmy has already bolted away, leaving the hallway eerily quiet. Does that kind of thing happen often around here? There are more rules in Yamako than usual for running in corridors, but that rarely stops Emmy, it seems. She shakes her head weakly and offers a slight, composed smile. I don't think there's anything we can do to stop her, I'm afraid. Shall we be off, then? Lily heads off down the hallway, with Hanako hurries after her. The route to the room the two use for tea is fairly simple to retrace, being still fresh in my mind from yesterday. Lily and Hanako quickly go about the business of making lunch. Before I can even open my small bag of food, Lily's busying herself with her thermos and tea bags as Hanako is setting out both their lunch boxes. So, is this what you meant by coming here almost every day? Yes, Hanako and I usually have lunch here. It suits both of us, so we end up using this room regularly. After seeing Hanako's reactions to me over the past couple of days, I can understand why that is a boon. That and Lily being able to get some quiet away from her class as well. I take my seat last after Lily's poured the tea for us and sits down. She's so cute. I love her. I don't know why. The more time I spend with these two girls, the more I think they're a perfect foil to Misha and Shizune. Even without a voice, Shizune is direct and brash, and Misha seems to get along with everyone. On the other hand, Lily is so soft-spoken and relaxed, while Hanako seems to be the shyest girl I've ever met. So, how are you faring in Yamaku, Hisao? You seem a bit flustered before. Apart from getting lost every now and again and being crash-tackled outside my classroom, fine, I guess. You looked pretty hurt before. Are you really okay? For a brief moment, I consider telling Hanako and Lily about my condition, but then I hold it back. I can't tell why, but for some reason, I feel uncomfortable talking about it to these relative strangers, even if they have been pretty friendly. Yeah, it's nothing. I was just a bit startled. Judging from the two girls' expressions, I don't think that they're buying it, but in what I assume is their way of respecting my privacy, they don't press the matter. I guess that's some kind of unwritten rules around here. Don't ask. Even if people's conditions are obvious like Hanako's, there's still bound to be a story involved. Everyone has things they don't feel comfortable speaking about, and I think everyone here recognizes that. So, how long have you been in this school? You both seem to know your way around pretty well. Well, I've been here since the start of high school, but only moved into the dormitories a year ago. Hanako joined at the start of high school as well, and moved into the dormitories when she did, if memory serves me right. That's right, since high school. So you've known each other since then? Since I moved, yes. Hanako lives next door to me, so it's only natural, right? Right. Yeah, of course. Living next to someone is probably the reason enough to befriend them, though I'm guessing Lily's blindness played a part in it as well. I can't imagine Hanako easily making friends with someone who has to deliberately avoid looking at her scars. With the immediate conversation dried up, we start to eat our lunch. It isn't long before the bells are signaling the end of the break. Like me, the girls pack up their lunches as efficiently as they set them out. I guess I better be off. Are you going with Hisao, Hanako? Hanako looks up to me, and for a second I can see she's considering skipping class, maybe just to avoid walking into the classroom to me. Yes. I don't know what to think of it. Hanako really is delicate to the point of breaking if looked at the wrong way. Makes me a bit nervous too, but I push the feeling aside, trying to be as natural as I can. We should hurry then. Class already started by the sound of it. Lily gives a nod of farewell as she bends down to take her cane. Hanako and I fling out before her. We walk quickly down the empty halls to our respective classes. As we reach the door to Lily's 3-2 classroom, she turns towards me. Hisao, thank you for sharing lunch with us today. My pleasure, Lily. And with that, we part ways, Lily entering her classroom and leaving Hanako and me to make off to our own. She's still looking like she wants to run away. So, do you really want to go back to class now? Yes. Okay then. I feel like I should say something more to her, but it's hard to come up with anything that would be appropriate and safe enough. Lily was right. The more time we spend out here, the more explaining we have to do. I open the rear door to the class and walk in. The teacher looks up at me and opens his mouth to say something. However, as Hanako follows me in and closes the door, he simply nods to us and continues his lecture. This is the third time that Hanako has had her truancy practically ignored. There's something definitely going on here. We make our way to our seats, and I notice that Misha and Shizune are both missing as well. I wonder if it's some form of informal agreement with the staff, or if it's a perk afforded to the unique students of this school. Trying to make it a little disturbance as I can, I extract the relevant textbooks from my bag and start catching up. The class goes on quietly. The teacher seems like an okay person despite the weird first impression I got, and the material is relatively interesting. However, the way he teaches is really bizarre. It's as if he expects that everyone is a natural genius. When the final bell sounds, I realize that there is still a lot of time left in the day, and I'm left wondering what to do. It's odd. At the hospital, I had 24 hours a day of free time, but here, filling the considerably shorter hours feels difficult. Everyone else leaves, and I'm left alone with the teacher. Muto is examining the assignment sheets we were working on earlier, marking them with a red ball pen. Raising his eyes from his papers briefly, he notices me and furrows his brow. What is it, Nakai? I jump at him addressing me, but I guess it's natural to spark some conversation since there's nobody else around. Nothing. Thinking about what I'd do after school. Teacher slowly puts the cap on his pen he's holding and arranges his papers into a stack, clacking it against the desk twice. He seems very methodical, and for a brief moment I'm reminded of Shizune, but the teacher is more unhurried and relaxed, much more routine. You have no plans? No. I consider joining a club, but don't know what kind of club would interest me. Go observe a meeting of someone else's club. It might pique your interest. I guess. But I don't know how to continue from there. Muto looks at me in the same way that makes me quickly want to take the words back to avoid a conversation. But I can't, so I have to forge ahead. I just don't know how to deal with people. I mean, the other students. I'm talking to people and everything, but it's not that I'd be isolated or anything. I just don't know what to talk or what to think about the disabilities. It's like, it feels like I'm being impolite if I pay attention to them, and it's weird to ignore them. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. Teacher scratches his cheek absent-mindedly, looking very unresponsive. These things are only an issue if you make them one. You can talk normally with someone, even if they're blind or something. Try to look behind the superficial. There's not a single student here who isn't just a normal kid being whatever they might seem at first glance. He says the same thing as Yuko did. I know they're right, but it's hard. How can you consider, for example, Shizune's deafness, and the only way to communicate that with her is to talk through Misha? Or Hanako. It's not like you can ignore her face. But I'm interrupted by the door of the classroom suddenly slamming open. Teacher! Misha crashes in, hands straight, and an enthusiastic greeting, her voice loud and lively enough to wake the dead from their graves. She starts toward the teacher's desk with a bouncing step, hands energetically swinging with the rhythm. Muto, visibly dismayed at the interruption, and Misha in general, slumps in his chair. Mikado. Misha stops in her tracks and looks around cluelessly, as if she's sensing from his tone that something is wrong, but has no idea what. Yes? We have talked about volume control before. Yes? But she didn't seem to lower her voice at all, and the teacher just rubs his eyes. So, what is it? We need help. We're running out of supplies for the festival stands. This is a distress. She waves a pink slip of paper she's holding around. So, go get more supplies from the art room. What's the problem with that? Plywood. Plywood is always the problem. Last time we wanted more, there was only a little, but the time we took it all, I just went with that. But now there's like none left there. So do you know where there is some? I don't understand. How would I know? Shi-chan, I mean the president, thought that a teacher would know if there was plywood. Was she wrong? Muto looks like he's in great pain, frowning his entire essence, and Misha doesn't get it at all. Looking at the two of them communicate is terrible, looking like a man being tortured by drilling his skull open while blasting pop music at full volume at the same time. I'm afraid I have no idea where any plywood, if there's any plywood in the school, let alone where it would be if there was any. Oh, what should I do? Perhaps try and find Mr. Nomiya? I mean, I'm quite sure he would know where to find everything you need. You'd have to pry them from his cold, dead hands, but that's a different matter. I don't have the time, we're so busy. She holds her hand with both her hands, looking as despairing as is possible for a person like her. Without even noticing, she crumbles the note she's holding against her hair. Shouldn't even be fetching these things, there's so much to do and we're falling behind the schedule. Muto looks at her gravely and then suddenly smiles. Smiling doesn't really fit this face, but I think it'd be better if he didn't. I wonder if you can get some temporary help. He switches to staring at me focusedly with a hard expression as if trying to say, go make some friends. I guess I can give you a hand. You can? Thanks, Ichan, you're really nice. She pauses, does a double take, and then points at me with her finger, yelping, ah! And looking very puzzled. Oh. Come to think of it, what's Hichan doing here? Class is over, you should be having fun. We just had a little chat. Oh no, it's not detention, is it? Are you in trouble, Hichan? No, I'm not. Is Hichan in trouble, teacher? No, he's not. Muto sighs deeply, and I feel like I have to help Misha to get her off the teacher's back. So what do you need? Here's a list. I could try to find plywood from somewhere if there's none of the art room. Oh, excuse me. I'll do it. Oh. She offers me the note she's holding. I take it, hesitating a bit. I said I'd help you, but this has no implications on whether I'm joining the council or not. Aww. Still, thanks, Hichan. Try to be quick. We're in a stall building streak now. We must hurry, hurry, hurry. She bounces out of the classroom, leaving me and the teacher looking at each other with something that feels like a silent agreement. Well, there you have it, Nakai. You have something to do now. Please don't sound so smug. Looking at the list was a number of items ranging from paint to plywood, all written with small, neat handwriting that is undoubtedly Shizune's. I heave a sigh. I'll be going then. Waving the long list limply at the teacher, I exit the hallway. Oh my good golly goddamn. It's been 2 hours and my throat is killing me. The classroom closest to ours are designed are designated belonging to classes 3-1 and 3-2 on the right side and 3-4 on the left, each door looking exactly the same. Further down the corridor, still with identical doors, are rooms I didn't even think were used for classes. Guess the art room is not a classroom as such. I carefully push open the farthest door and peek in. It's a classroom, but it seems rather badly kept or not in use. Am I in the right place? Desks and chairs are all around the room, a thin layer of dust settled on them. There are some easels in the corner, so at least this looks like the right place. The room is flushed in sunlight from the big windows, shadows creeping all over the desks. The specks of dust are dancing in the stagnant air, making beams of light almost visible. Jokingly, I call into the empty room. Anybody home? Something catches my eye and I stop mid-sentence. Sitting on a desk is a short-haired girl wearing a boy's uniform with a fork between her toes, a morsel of food stuck firmly on the end. The odd way of dining seems to be caused by her apparent lack of hands, but her presence here is what takes me aback even more. How did I miss her before? She's just sitting on the corner very still, but I still somehow somehow took her as part of the furnishing or a statue at first glance. I'm not being too observant today as a whole. The girl seems to be frozen in place, staring at me with her huge eyes like a rabbit in headlights. She's staring at me, her mouth wide open, ready to accept the fork. I'm staring at her, my mouth wide open, suddenly remembering I didn't finish my sentence, and trying to think if I should. This weird stalemate keeps us both stunned into silence, punctuated only by the wall clock ticking rhythmically. Hello. The girl stuffs the fork full in her mouth and is now staring at me expectantly while chewing. This is a bit awkward. Hello. I was told to pick up some supplies from here. For some festival stalls, I think. I didn't think there would be someone here. There isn't. That's why I came here, too. She picks up another forkful. Doesn't that mean you're here, then? She raises her eyebrows as if she was expecting that my observation was false. You are pretty observant. I guess it does. But who are you? The girl's pretty straightforward, isn't she? I'm Nakai. Hisao Nakai. I just transferred in on Monday. I'm Rin. Tezuka Rin. Rin Tezuka. I won't shake hands with you, but at least we know who we are now. That's very nice. Her deadpan manner of talking makes it hard to determine whether she's joking about her shaking hands or not. It kind of bothers me. Joking about these matters doesn't feel appropriate at all. While I'm still trying to figure out what's appropriate and whether this girl is, she seems to have lost interest in me and is now gazing yearningly back at her food. Can I continue my lunch? If you don't mind me, I won't mind you. If you need to get your stuff, the supplies are at the back. Go right ahead, but lunch? School's already over for the day. What word would you use then? There's no word for a meal you eat after lunch, but before dinner, right? Bothers me very much too, but I don't really know what I should say. I don't think you're supposed to eat a meal between lunch and dinner to begin with. But I'm hungry now. My delicious box lunch would go to waste otherwise. I have curry. It's very delicious. With much decisiveness, Rin once again picks up the fork between her toes, and with at least as much impoliteness, she points it straight at me. So, Nakai, what brings you to this place? Like I said, I was told to look for these things. No, the school. From outside, you look fine. Is your problem inside? I come to a full stop, opening my mouth but not getting a word out. I can guess. I'm good at guessing, better than most people. Rin cuts me off before I can answer a question, or skirt around it somehow. I don't know which way I would have done. I froze in front of this issue again. I haven't even told anyone here about my condition, or maybe it's only because it hasn't really come up. I do get the feeling that not making issues of this is a part of the social code here, as the teacher said. I wonder if the people here could relate. Probably not any better than any normal person could. I can't relate to Shizune's circumstances, or Lily's either. Naturally, while I go through this in my head, Rin keeps considering what my condition could be, with an overtly contemplative look on her face. She puts her fork between her lips and leans back, looking at the ceiling as if the answer is written up there. A beam of light illuminates her face from the window's side, creating a mask of dark shadow on the other side. I don't think it's anything in your head. Something in your guts would be boringly ordinary, like this lunch of mine, and less delicious. The problem must be in your pants! This messed up Sherlock Holmes kind of statement and sheer lack of tact is what delivered the catches. Bleh! The messed up Sherlock Holmes kind of statement and the sheer lack of tact it was delivered with catches me completely off guard. I think I might have reeled back even physically as Rin's eyes widened in revelation and astonishment. So I was right! There's something wrong with your tackle, isn't there? Still partially in shock, but recognizing the need to reply something, I spit out the first thing I could think of. No, nothing like that. I have a heart problem, arrhythmia. I said it. More like blurted it out, but I said it. The girl in front of me purses her lips together and glowers at me, looking very disappointed. How boring. Trouble in the pants would have been much more scandalous. What's with this reaction? I'm sorry to let you down. I forgive you, just I collect people, and a person with, that kind of problem would have been really great. Collect people. People with different problems. Huh, so you just, go around asking people what's wrong with them? Pretty much. I see. With little left to say, Rin resumes her lunch, and with the conversation dies away, but I keep thinking about what she said. The first time I told anyone else about my condition, all the other people would have known about it already, or heard about it from someone else. Or didn't need to know about it like every other student here so far. Should I have told it as a natural part of introductions? Is it expected of me? Hi, I'm Hisao. I have a very serious heart condition. Is that how I'm supposed to go around introducing myself from now on? As if our disabilities would define us. What a disgusting thought. Or maybe this Tezuka girl has an unnatural interest in such things. As I walk to the back of the room, I pick up the items on Misha's list. A chance opens to study Rin from the corner of my eye. Her hair is burnt auburn, almost orange, and cropped short. Long hair would probably be impossible with no arms. The boy's uniform and the lack of arms make her look very thin, almost scrawny. She's not particularly pretty except for her murky green eyes, which flicker restlessly from below her short bangs, even when she eats. The distance and the shadows make it seem like that they don't reflect sunlight at all, but instead absorb it all within them deep wells. She moves her feet almost as deftly as a person normally would use their arms. However, I could see how this sight would discomfort people, especially while eating. Makes me feel a bit uncomfortable, at least. I don't hesitate to think about the word unnatural, but it's too late now, isn't it? I keep searching the cabins and shelves for Misha's things. Cabins? Shouldn't it be cabinets? But after enough time passes, the silence grows too uncomfortable, so I try to force some conversation out of this strange girl. So, do you always eat alone and this late, or do you get the occasional visitor? Visitors? Maybe you're my first occasional visitor, but I don't always eat alone either. Sometimes I eat with a certain person on the roof, if she's not horsing around. Horsing? She likes to do sports. Oh. That's all I can think of to say. Both of us fall silent again as Rin forks the last bits of her meal into her mouth. I look down at my haul and double check it with Misha's list. Seems I have everything except plywood. So I think I have all the things now. That's very nice for you. Don't feel obliged to stay. I was about to take a nap anyway. You need to do whatever you're doing with that stuff anyway, right? Or perhaps you like to watch girls sleeping. Not sure what to make of this, but Rin looks serious. Even if I did, I think I have to be going. I'll catch you around, Tezuka. You can call me Rin. I feel like that our relationship is at this point good enough to warrant this much. I was already turning to make my exit, but she draws me back in. Fine then, I'm Hisao. Then you are. Rin looks at me hard in the eyes, but that intimidating feeling you get when someone stares at you isn't there. It's like she's actually not looking at me at all. She blinks a couple of times, and I can't figure out why a pause like this just popped between us out of nowhere. See you later, Hisao. There's something like a tiny smile in her face, maybe. What the fuck is happening? I quietly back out of the room, and I shut the door in front of my face. I whisper to myself, what an intriguing person. From inside, I hear a muffled sing-song voice. I heard that. What did she hear? I jump at the sudden appearance of Misha, who I had not heard approaching despite the completely empty hallway. Somehow she had gotten jumping distance of me without making a sound. Creepy. Briefly reminds me of Kenji's nutty theory about the global feminist conspiracy, but I push that thought aside. Shizune, standing slightly behind Misha, looks aloof as she couldn't have heard the remark that drew Misha's attention, but Misha is visibly excited. No, wait, more importantly, who's in there? There's no club meetings today. She tries to curiously peek past me, even though the door prevents her from seeing anyway. What are you doing here? You took so long that we had to come check what's wrong. That's no good, Hee-chan. She wags her finger at me scoldingly. I found plywood, but everything else is still missing because you were tardy. Sorry, I got the things here. I was just going to bring them. I think you're up to some mischief, Hee-chan. Who was in there with you, I wonder? Misha silently quickly to Shizune, pointing at her own ear a couple times. Shizune immediately pushes her way past me and opens the door in the classroom I just left. I can only imagine the shock she is experiencing. With Shizune's diligence and attitude, the insolence of daring to deface school property by sleeping on top of it must be too much to bear. And indeed, she stares at Rin, frozen in place apart from the slight but noticeable trembling of her shoulders, from suppressed rage, I'm sure. Instead of blowing up, Shizune takes a few deep breaths, adjusts her glasses, and slams the door shut, turning to sign furiously at Misha. Maybe she did blow up, but I can't understand it. She shoots a very loaded stare at me too, as if somehow my fault that Rin was sleeping on one of the tables. I hope she's not getting any funniest ideas about the reason of my tardiness. Hello. Rin's voice comes after the other side of the door, and it takes a few eye blinks to realize she might have trouble opening it. I open the door to find Rin directly behind it, looking at us with half-interested, half-sleepy face. Hello. Miss Tezuka, what do you think you were doing? You're absolutely not permitted to use school property for such disgraceful activity. It sure is suddenly very crowded here. I didn't think I was this popular. It's hard to say whether she's happy or unhappy about this turn of events. At any rate, she ignores Shizune/Misha's scolding, so they have no choice but to drop the issue. Shizune taps Misha's shoulder, points at Rin, and makes some quick signs. Popularity aside, please don't do that anymore. Anyway, how's your project going? Will it be done for the festival? Rin looks at them blankly, apparently at ease under the pressure Shizune's cold stare is putting on her. I keep wondering about that myself, too. And? We'll think about it harder. As Misha signs her reply to Shizune, her face turns to an unsatisfied frown. Miss Tezuka, please try and take things seriously. It'll be a disaster if the wall looks like someone threw up their lunch onto it. Rin nods assertively. We'll think more seriously. Misha actually giggles at that, but Shizune doesn't, not even after translation. She just shakes her head, takes the materials from me, and takes off with Misha in tow. Rin frowns thoughtfully as she looks after the retreating student council duo. How rude. It's true, though. I must finish my project for the weekend. There will be dire consequences if I don't. The end of the world as we know it. Like weekends usually are, but more dire. Much more dire. Maybe I'll postpone my nap to unforeseen future. I am about to ask what project she has and what are these apocalyptic consequences, but she walks back into the art classroom. Since you have nothing to do, would you give me a hand? Paint can doesn't fit into my bag, but I need it. She kicks lightly at the huge can of paint that's lying on the floor next to the table that she was sitting and sleeping on. It lets out a dull clang. Being the gentleman I am, I naturally pick it up. Heavy. Yeah, sure, where do you need to take it? Away. And with that, she takes off into the hallway, me and the paint can following, since there's little choice for either of us. The hallway is quiet and empty now with Shizune and Misha gone, so we too leave towards the stairwell to the other end. Every 10 or 15 or 20 steps, I have to change the can from one hand to the other because the thin handle cuts into my palm. At least it keeps my arms from tiring too fast. Oh, a lot of reading. I don't know what I expected from a visual novel. Rin strolls on beside me with an uneven pace that I have trouble matching, or maybe I am walking weird because of the extra weight. Seems one of us is constantly walking too slow or too fast, and I can't figure out which. 2 flights of stairs below, Trouble appears in the form of a head nurse and his fox-like grin. Ah, Mr. Nakai, what a happy coincidence. Tezuka, too, of course. He nods courteously to Rin, who does not acknowledge him back, then turns to me because obviously it's me who he had some business with. There's something I forgot to mention on Monday. I nod and wait impassively because I can't even begin to guess what he'd forgot. The feeling of the handle delving deeper into my skin doesn't make me feel enthusiastic about this interruption either. Oh my goodness. Gotta wipe my eyes. Huh. It's about your medications. Since you haven't been that long on your current medications, there might be some unexpected side effects, which might require adjusting dosages or even changing to another kind of medication. So we will do a few tests regularly, but what I want you to do is keep an eye on everything in your condition that feels off, if you get what I mean. Nausea, headache, anything, and come see me if something happens. Alright. So, how are you? Everything fine? I give up and drop the can on the floor before answering him. Apparently this takes longer than my biceps can handle. I'm about to say something generic as an answer, but then I realize how often I've done that lately. Other people have asked that too. Teachers and students here, my parents, visitors, nurses, doctors at the hospital. Everyone seems to be concerned about that. It's natural for a hospital, but not so much for a school. Except this school. This is a small school, but both students' base and the faculty seem to be very tightly knit. At least that's the feeling I'm getting. This is not the kind of school that gets transfer students too often. The thought sends shivers on my spine, but I give a generic answer anyway. That's great. Also, another thing. My sources tell me that you've been neither at school track nor even the pool, so I'd like to know if you've been taking up exercise like I asked. Of course I haven't, but this is a way of inquiring because of the feeling that I should have been running my ass off the track since the very first day. You have people spying on me? Not as much, I just happen to know a few people, and that's not the issue here, so don't try to slip out of it. Well, I was actually just doing some improvised weightlifting as an exercise. I pick up and lift the can up and down a few times, just like some sad imitation of a bodybuilder, even though it's weighing down on my arms painfully. The stupid grin disappears from his face for a second, then comes back like it was never gone. Tezuka, would you give us a second? The nurse grabs me by the shoulder without waiting for Rin's permission, which he didn't need in the first place, and drags me aside. When I told you to exercise, I wasn't joking. I understand that you're still in your first week and all, but please don't ignore the importance of this. The reason I'm coming down this hard on you is that habits are not easy to form. The more you slip and postpone, the harder it'll be. It's the same with everything, like dieting. Can you promise me to be more serious about this from now on? Yeah, of course. Yeah, I promise, definitely. He studies me for a moment and then shrugs, smiling again. Okay, that's more like it. If you go to the school track tomorrow morning, you'll meet my spy, who probably has no qualms offering consultation to you if you want to jog a bit. Consultation? See you around. He leaves with a wave of his hand and no answer, and I walk to Rin, who has been waiting, idly leaning against the hallway wall and staring at the pale lighting fixtures on the ceiling. Even when I approach, she doesn't move her eyes off of them. Are you getting medications for your heart thingy? Were you listening? It comes out more accusatory than I intended, accidentally lashing out on her. But even so, I don't really want to start talking about it. I just met her. I don't know her. It's not her business. The nurse seems to be happily ignorant about confidentiality, too, talking about that kind of thing in public. But it's not Rin's fault, is it? I look up at her, suddenly feeling a bit guilty, but Rin is just staring past my shoulder quizzically, her head tilted like a bird's. I don't know why this is so hard for me. It feels like there's some inexplicable lock that prevents me from being more upfront about this. Yeah, they're for my heart. Will they make you better? No, not really. They just make me a little less worse. Rin keeps looking at me for a while longer, and she says neither anything further nor displays any kind of emotion I could discern. I'm thankful that she doesn't. I think I'm still not quite used to all this. At the hospital, it was easy, but I still haven't sorted my feelings out and having to live with a normal life with this disability. We leave the main building, and Rin leads us onwards to the dorm. We stop at the small patch of greenery in front of the dorm building. The dorm is built on slightly elevated ground with a wall and a few trees that everybody has to circle around every time they come or go. Probably the only inconvenient design in this school. The entire wall, which has some kind of the same kind of bricks as the building, has been covered in some sort of painting. Most of it still seems mere sketches, quick lines drawn with black and white against the gray plastering that covers almost the entire length of the wall, but some places look a bit more finished. There are human faces with legs and hands, and I can't quite say what the painting as a whole might portray. Stacks of what seem to be paint cans are arranged in piles on the ground beside the wall. See, the left side is hardly off the ground yet. Because I couldn't get in the mood yesterday, so I gave up and went to meditate instead. Then it was suddenly morning. I have to work on it, but the guys from the art class are helping with the negative spaces and base surfaces whenever, which is a problem. It's easier to paint big areas if there are a lot of people, with hands. The reach is better, and it's faster, too. She goes on a tangent of a tangent, waving a little with her arm, or whatever of it there actually is, to demonstrate even though I got the point already. The white cotton of her sleeve flaps around and makes me think it could look sadder than it does. Makes me feel out of place, like almost every tangible reminder of the student base's special properties has in the past few days. This girl doesn't notice my dreary feelings, of course, or the fact that she lost me a while ago already, and just keeps on blabbering. So that's why I'm trying to figure out, why is this something I need to figure out, and to figure that out before it's too late and all hope is lost. Why would the hope be lost? Because paint has to be painted, and then has to dry, and it has to be painted over with another kind of paint. It takes time. She finally stops, apparently thinking she's made some kind of statement that makes sense. I think it's best to start from the top. So this is your project? You did this? Yes, yes. All of it? Yes. Nice, but I stumble with my words, suddenly feel like I've walked straight into the minefield of political incorrectness. It's okay, you could say it. I probably won't get mad. I blush really hard. I don't really know what would be the right thing to say, if any. It feels as if I'm way more sensitive than Rin is, though. This is really awkward. Don't you want to ask? How do you paint without hands? See? I'm an easy person to talk to, right? With my feet. I almost guessed that already, but isn't that hard to do? You're good at guessing. Anyway, I don't think it is. Maybe I'm used to it by now. I can't get my mind around the fact that she could be an artist, but seeing how adept she was using her feet to eat, I figured painting may not be a problem either. Neither of us had anything more to add to the subject. That afternoon light works pretty well. I was afraid it would look too flat, but it's not like that after all. I think it's actually pretty interesting. I wanted to see what it looks like in dim light. Do you think it's flat? Well, paintings tend to be flat. Not like that flat. You know, flat, like some people are. No substance, no meat, like there should be some. I know a few girls who, okay, I get it, but I couldn't really tell. I'm not that good with art. I can't name any artists or artistic terms. I don't really have anything to say. Rin shrugs her shoulders at that, saying, suit yourself, without saying it, and looks up at the sky as if trying to look for something up there. I didn't think I'd get any actual work done, but if you give me a hand with the paints, I could do a little better before it's dark. I wanted to get a halogen lamp like the ones they have at the sports track, but if there aren't any. Rin sure is quick to recruit any help, as was Shizune. Makes me feel like the festival is such a big project that every pair of hands is needed. Why not? Not really sure if I can be any help, though. Oh my goodness. Oh man, we have to stop early today. Jesus, what the fuck? We have to stop early today. I'm getting exhausted from doing all this reading. It's just mixing some paints. You can do that, probably. You have the motor control problems, like, you know, those people who have some. Cerebral palsy, maybe? Not that I know of. I get it. Heart thingy has nothing to do with that. She gives me a sly look for no reason. No, it doesn't. Let's do it then. So she sits on an empty wooden box and very naturally picks up a wide brush between her toes of her bare right foot. I open a few cans and pour some into the contents of the shallow bowls for mixing. The thick paints flow lazily from the can to the bowl like syrup. I mix them, creating funny, hypnotic-looking swirl patterns that melt quickly into each other to form a new, monotone hue. Rin sets to work, every now and then asking me for a hand with something or the other. Finding different brushes is easy enough, but missing the paints to be the exact tone this girl is apparently seeing in her head is a frustrating ordeal. She wants the precision down to the last millimeter before she's satisfied, but her instructions are obscure at best. Add half a splash of green. I crouch down and pick up the can of bright green. The other green, this green. I carefully pour some of the other green paint into the mixing bowl. No, that's almost a whole splash, more white. Isn't green a good color to add? No idea, you're the artist here. A hint of smile appears in the corner of her mouth. Do you lack an opinion? No, it's just that I have no idea. It's okay, because I just got an idea. Add more white. With this exclamation, I pour a minuscule amount of white into the bowl and mix it. It looks slightly whiter. That's not good. It has to be more like the color when you wake up and you know that you saw something of your life in your dream, but you can't remember it. Maybe it's yellow. Despite the impossibility of mixing a color like the change of seasons or any other nonsense being imposed on me, I find myself enjoying it more than I thought I would. Seeing a painting being born on the plastered wall feels like magic. I spend the moments I have between mixing paints and crouching down on the paving and just looking at her work. It feels slightly intrusive at first, like breaking some imaginary intimacy, but Rin doesn't seem to mind it the least bit. Maybe it's just my head. Her entire presence emits a softly different air as she patiently works the details, adding layers of paint on top of other layers of paint, steadily moving her foot across the wall to add new shapes. When I manage to produce a passable mixture of paint, the rare smile on her face is oddly rewarding. Apart from the few words when discussing paint mixes, neither of us says a word for the longest time. But even those short discussions soon evolve into a shorthand, both of us developing and using weird impromptu code words for various paints and hues. Just a hot second here. As if there is some need to conserve words and breath and sound. Oh wow, it's actually turning into something. We stay there late into the evening until it becomes too dark to paint properly. Did I just like Stardew Valley pass out on the pavement? The sound of an alarm pulls me out of a fitful slumber as I turn into the unpleasant state of wakefulness. Got enough weird words in that sentence? I linger under the blankets for a few minutes, gathering energy to rise up while making excuses for why I already haven't. Honestly, I wouldn't mind staying here for all day. School is surprisingly exhausting after a long pause, and the culture shock still has not faded, I think. Still, despite getting an impression that skipping class is easy here, I don't think they're going to let me get away that easily. And the nurse is bound to keep breathing down my neck with the talk of exercising as well. So eventually I do rise up, swallow the morning medications, and put on my old soccer clothing. Thanks to my condition, I was exempt from taking part in gym classes at Yamaku, so I didn't get issued with a gym outfit. I'd order some to cover such a contingency, but wearing my old soccer clothes is kind of nostalgic. Can't use them for that anymore, so maybe they'll get a new life this way. A bit like me. After all, if I'm going to start taking care of myself, I can't afford to slack around, I'll start from the basics. Basics which include keeping the rest of my body in shape, along with what little I can do to strengthen my heart. Maybe then I can go back to something approaching a normal life, or at least something where I'm less likely to fall over dead at any minute. Why is this guy me? I'm surprised to discover that I'm not the only person at the track. Not just that, but it's a face I've seen before. Guessing Kenji. The prosthetic leg girl who bowled me over the hallway yesterday is running on the track lively in a half mechanical gazelle. Emmy, I think her name was? What was her name again? It was a short one, but I can't remember. She seems to be running laps at a somewhat easy lope, her prosthetic leg clacking rhythmically on the hard track surface. Oh, you can hear it too, listen. I like that. Nice touch. I wonder what reason she has for running this early in the morning. Maybe it's something akin to mine, and the nurse is oppressing the poor girl to jog just like he is oppressing me. I certainly wouldn't be here if it weren't for my health, and his prompting me to do so. But even with things being like they are, it's only because I wanted to get it out of the way early. The fact that I would be less likely to encounter someone who would witness my pitiful attempts to get in shape was merely a happy accident. I'd leave, but it seems my former assailant noticed me on her last lap. She waves at me cheerfully and jogs over. Good morning, your name is Hisao, right? She grins, seemingly pleased that she would remember my name. You may not remember me. Emmy? I knocked you over in the hall yesterday. How could I forget such a blunt introduction? Emmy has the decency to look vaguely apologetic for a moment before giggling. Yeah, sorry about that, again. Well, as long as you don't make a habit out of it, I'm suppose we'll be fine. Great! I'm not sure she realized I was joking. So the spy consultant the nurse was talking about, is that actually you? That's right. Oh. I was expecting someone from the nursing staff, to be honest. What are you saying? I don't look like I could be a spy? No, this is more like a relief. I'm afraid he would have someone would watch. I was afraid he would have someone to watch my every move, unless you were here to do exactly that. No, I'm here for my own reasons. The nurse just asked me if I had seen a messy-haired transfer student who looked like he's kind of lost around the track. So why are you down here? Emmy strikes a dramatic pose. Training! For what? Track. I see. You're on the track team then? Emmy nods enthusiastically. Yep, I'm one of the better runners too. And modest about it too. Hey, you should join up. It's good exercise, you know. I think that much activity is probably out of the question for me. No, I'm not even sure that I really like running all that much. Plus, I'm just not into organized sports, you know. It's true, I never even really got that much into soccer. I mean, I'd run around with my friends and all, but that was really the only reason I ever played. It wasn't for the glory to be found on the field, that's for sure. Emmy seems to understand my meaning. I see. Not into that whole organization thing. But now that you're here, I guess we could be doing... I guess we're doing... bleh. But now that you're here, I guess we're going to run together, huh? What? Sure, I guess. Emmy seems pleased. Are you going to warm up? Real men don't warm up. Oh no, you should always warm up. Bad Hisao. She scolds me enthusiastically, but then smiles and leans closer. I hate warming up too. She laughs suddenly. Heck, and I don't even have to stretch my legs. As if to confirm her statement, she bounces up and down a couple of times, giving a passing impression of her standing upon a pair of springs. Her leg blades seem to be quite elastic. Let's go! So we both take off around the track, and I can immediately see that she wasn't lying about being good at running. Emmy moves fluidly, throwing herself into the run like some sort of wild abandon. I find myself concentrating more on running properly. Hands spread, right? Something about hitting with the balls of your feet rather than the heels. I try to match my stride to Emmy's, but it's pretty difficult. Apparently I'm not very good at it. Maybe Emmy could help me with that sometime. I'm really not feeling up to more than a couple of laps today, and slow to a walk pretty quickly. Emmy keeps running and doesn't notice that I've stopped until she passes me a second time. She quickly skids to a halt, breathing steadily in contrast to my own somewhat gasping demeanor. Finished already? I hang my head ruefully. Yeah. Not in very good shape right now. Emmy nods and then grins at me again. She seems to do a lot of smiling. Well, the important thing is that you started, right? Next time, you just have to try and hold out longer, and then longer, and eventually you'll be great. I'll keep that in mind. But I think right now I'm going to go get ready for class. Shouldn't you? Emmy shrugs unconcernedly. Nah, I got plenty of time. I notice that she's not wearing a watch. Are you sure? Another careless shrug. Not really, but I gotta finish my routine. See you later, Hisao. Yeah, see ya. I'm not sure whether this morning's experiment was a success or a failure, but I'll admit that I do feel slightly good about getting out there this morning. It's just like Emmy said, I just need to keep at it in order to get better, right? Practice makes perfect or something like that. It's at least nice to feel like I've taken some semblance of control over my own health. I'll have to try to keep this up. I head back to the dorms to wash and change into my uniform, trying to resist the urge to take a really long and a hot shower. I couldn't do that today. I don't have any hot water in my dorm. I'm tired from all the running, so I just wanted to unwind. I don't want to break my slowly building routine of getting to school before the morning rush. After taking a long shower anyway, I dry myself off and get out of the stall and put on my clothes. Out of nowhere, a shadow appears within the mist, looming and radiating malicious intent. It bursts through the fog. That's Kenji. Yup. Sup? What are you doing here? What the hell? You scared me. What's your problem? I should be asking you that. I'm looking for you all over the place, man. Sabev 8. Yes, this is my first time playing this game. My girlfriend recommended it to me. What do you mean all over the place? I want to ask if you've been looking for me like that, stark naked, but hold my tongue back. I hold my tongue... What? Whoops. I missed something here. His glasses are fogged up, but then why doesn't he wipe them off? Is his vision so bad that he's perpetually seeing through fog? You know, your room, and yeah, that's it. Hey, I mean, I still had to get up, though. Whatever, it's not important. Can I borrow some money? He puts on an innocent face and looks away, trying very hard to look very casual. It doesn't work. He's as transparent as his window pane-sized glasses. Talking neutrally like this, we're wearing nothing, feels awkward. Actually, somehow it's even more awkward to be naked in front of someone when they can't see me being naked. To say nothing of the fact that he's naked as well. I try to brush the feeling off with little success. Money? Sure. Awesome. Wait, why do you need it? Can't you just give it to me because I had the goodwill not to run through your pockets while you were in the shower? I could have, but I exercised restraint. And in the end, it isn't the thought that counts, right? Come on, be a pal. Great, I see. Which route did she recommend or / which route you're going? Or going with the choices you would have done? I'm just playing the game for the sake of playing the game. I'm not looking for any to follow any route specifically. Just casually playing the game as a nice Valentine's Day special on stream. Only got about an hour and a half left on stream as well. I appreciate having a chatter though. It always feels nice to have somebody to talk to. This makes no sense. If it's the thought that counts, I should withhold payment since his thoughts were so clearly impure that his intentions were probably even more sinister since he can't tell me what they are. I say as much to him. I'm offended, man, but if that's your game, then fine. I guess I have no choice. I want to order a pizza, but I already have most of the cost of the pizza. I need your help for the rest. I'll get some of that pizza too, right? No. Are you serious? Yeah, I would give you some, but you have class. You don't have time to eat a pizza. What about you? I'm not going to class. I have to wait for the pizza and pay the guy, and then eat it. It's not that easy. You have to obtain the pizza stealthily. If you don't, everyone will see you and the pizza, and they'll ask for a slice. It's a hard world out here. Everyone wants a piece, and you're left pizzaless in this unforgiving world. It's happened before, but that's how I know. Every day I plan my vengeance so that when I get the people who wrong me order a pizza, I will be there, ever vigilant. Kenji strikes a dramatic pose, completely without irony. But yeah, I only need like 400 yen. Please, you're my only hope. I can't go outside and buy my own pizza. It's too far. I try not to go out unless it's absolutely necessary. Let me tell you what happened the last time I went out with it, without carefully planning it out in advance. I was outside. I can't remember what I was doing. Something. Standing, maybe wondering how I got there. And then out of nowhere, it happened. Like a flash of lightning splitting the sky, like how you split a sandwich into 2 equal pieces and made it more manageable to hold and eat. A bird crapped on my head. It was the second most shocking moment of my life. What was the first? He ignores me and keeps going. I want to grab him and shake him. Is he just trying to keep momentum? I'll go with that, even if it's more likely you just didn't hear me. It was in like the openings of some anime show, you know, where there's always a part where the main dude is fighting his rival and they fly at each other and clash swords and there's like a big dramatic colored auras and zoom. It was like that, but with poo. Okay. So yeah, I need some money. Please don't leave me hanging, man. I only need like 1,000 yen. I thought it was 400. Okay. What? I'll pay you back, I swear. You better. This is what it means to borrow stuff. I don't know when I'll be able to pay you back. You have 1 week. Ah! Kenji winces and makes a noise like a dying cow, a particularly disturbing fact given that his baton is conducting freely. You're not supposed to be so tight-ass about money between brothers in arms, man. Men have it bad enough as it is. You know that male porn stars only make about half of what female porn stars make? That doesn't mean anything unless you're a porn star. Maybe I am a porn star on the side, struggling to make it ends meet, and I fight the feminist agenda. You can't even spot me or crumbs, you bastard. Nobody understands. Nobody. Wouldn't feminists be against pornography in the first place? This feminist stuff agenda again? This stuff is important. I can see that you don't give a shit, but this is serious here. Feminists are a dangerous enemy, make no mistake. You take them lightly and you wake up in the morning with a knife in your back. Bam, out of nowhere. How do you wake up in the morning if someone stabbed you in your sleep? Women are terrible at stabbing things. I thought you just said you don't take them lightly. Well, I mean, I don't take them lightly for big things. Individually, they're not a threat. But if there's some kind of war, like a big war with men on one side and the feminist force on the other side, it would be pretty ugly. And then that day will come when the feminists will be out of their central top-secret worldwide feminist headquarters and say, "It's on now, motherfuckers." You're being ridiculous. There's no big worldwide feminist headquarters building. Where would they even hide that? I mean, it'd have to be massive, and you can't hide that on Earth. Somewhere would have to be a big fortress with only women on it. Who said it was on Earth? I turn away from Kenji and start practicing frowning faces in the mirror so that I can figure out what kind of frown will best express my emotions. He can't see me from this distance anyway, which unfortunately means that he just keeps on ranting without any regard to sense or sensibility. Yeah, there is a war going on, a war not many know about, but it's a great one. The may boil over and encompass all the known world, and then we'll have to pick sides. We will have to make a stand. In fact, it's happening right now. Imagine it, the bloody battlefield, a vicious conflict without end. I almost gave up, and when I thought this cause was silly, when I grew tired of the bleakness of our fight, when I mistook the time the power went out for a feminist raid and thought the end was near. But then I realized that if I gave up, it would all be over, and I was like, whoa! And I had to get serious, because I am the last man in an insane world. It's all about duty. It was a pretty crappy movement if it all hinges on one naked guy ranting in a bathroom at another naked guy. So can I have the money? He's blocking the way out, and it's getting cold since I'm still naked, and I want to go to class, so I agree with him to spot the money. Awesome, thanks dude, we could go bowling later on. Bowling? Yeah, it's the ultimate sport. There are no women bowlers either, making it all the manliest sport. Is this your first visual novel? I played Honey Pop, if that counts. As far as like just reading forever, this is my first time doing that, and my throat is taking its toll. Yeah, it's the ultimate sport. There are almost no women bowlers either, making it also the manliest sport. Should I wear my pink bowling shirt with matching shoes or the pastel green with flower accents? There are bowling clothes? Maybe. Anyway, you'd better pay me back. I can pay you back in stuff, right? I don't have time to ask him to elaborate on what that means. I don't know. I have to get to class, and you're kind of in my way. Oh, sorry, yeah, I don't want to hold you up, but I have some stuff to do myself. The time has come. Time for what? I just like saying that. Okay, now the time has really come. For what? I have to use the bathroom. Get out of it. I was just going to. And what does that mean? It's a big bathroom. So, I have to be alone or I can't go. The pressure. Okay. What if someone else comes in? I'll think of something. I give him my practice frown, and it looks kind of silly reflected in his glasses, but he either doesn't notice or doesn't see anyway. So I get dressed and run back to my room, feeling as though an eternity has passed since I woke up. Oof. That is time I will never get back. I will get it for this somehow. Right now, I have to get to class. I'm the first person in class today, although I think I'm a little too early. Then again, sitting alone here for 20 minutes sure beats having to suffer that time with Kenji. Oh, I see, yeah, it can be pretty rough on the voice to be constantly reading for so long. There was one dude streaming this a month ago, went 13 hours straight, no clue how he managed it. God damn. I don't know how I'm going to survive on my 24-hour stream if I ever do that. Oh god, I get the hiccups. There we go, that should help. The combination of fatigue, frustration, and boredom starts to make me feel very tired. I black out for a second, waking up when my head hits the surface of my desk. Rubbing my forehead, I realize this is a good reason and any to stay up for now and stop coming to classes so early later. Eventually, I hear a tapping noise outside the hallway, and Lily's tall figure appears in the doorway. She's not in this class, so she must have some other business. Maybe she's looking for Hanako. Lily stops at the door looking hesitant as if she was a vampire who can't come in unless invited. I consider doing so because she looks rather lonesome standing there. She steps in on her own accord, though, after straightening her skirt and shirt collar as if it was some importance to look prim when entering our classroom. Excuse me. She calls out to the quiet classroom with a probing, delicate voice. I realize the silence here might unnerve her because of her blindness, so I break it. Good morning, Lily. Hisao, good morning. I didn't hear you come in. I wonder if she thinks it's suspicious I didn't say anything to her before. It's likely. If I were to tell her too big a lie now, it would sink me. Oh, I was already here, just asleep until now. Oh, have you seen Hanako today by any chance? No, she seems to come in only just before the bells ring, or after that. Do you want me to tell her something for you? No, it's fine. It's strange, but I think we're the only two people in the school right now. I don't hear anyone else on my way here. Shouldn't have gotten up too early today, I guess. You're chastising yourself for doing something that other people should. Punctuality is a good thing. I think so, anyway. It's a very busy morning today. The festival's coming up soon, and today's... Oh, that was the wrong voice. It's a very busy morning today. The festival is coming up soon, and today is the deadline for the event registration, budget reports, and any other official paperwork. Could be that everyone is trying to complete the necessary forms at the last minute. Maybe that is why it's so quiet today. Hi! Misha pops into the room with Shizune as if on cue, shouting with a loudness that makes Lily visibly flinch. Hi, Ichan! Hi. Look, it's the class representative! Hello! Lily smiles, probably amused by Misha or Shizune's use of the word look. Good morning. Of course you're not the representative of this class, right? Right. I'm not. Lily seems a bit more guarded in her answers to Shizune than she was with me the other day. I guess they really don't get along now at all. Then I realize that Lily might actually know that Shizune is present, and she's trying to detect whether or not she is, to know who she is talking to. For all she knows, she's talking to Misha, but knowing that she and Shizune are practically inseparable, she might expect Shizune to be the one who actually talks. Damn, how complicated. I decided to help Lily out for my own peace of mind before anything else. You're here early, Shizune. You were here even earlier than us. Misha puffs out her cheeks angrily. Why is she getting angry? Does she feel emotion on Shizune's behalf too? It's not that weird, though, that Shizune didn't like my little comment. It's true, I was here earlier than them, so me saying something like that could definitely be misinterpreted as anything. Especially to Shizune, who doesn't have the benefit of hearing the tone to gauge intent. Before I could start weighing whether or not I should apologize, Shizune has already moved on. Class rep, it's a good thing you're here. We have to talk. The festival's coming up in 3 days, right? Every other class has already handed in their projected budget reports for their events, even the first years, except you. Wahaha! There's still time to hand it in, isn't there? Today! The deadline is today. You're seriously taking your time, aren't you? If I had it my way, I'd have all the necessary paperwork days ago, but someone had to say, the deadline, please extend it. Yes, that was me. Planning something on this scale is not a small task, and a week is too small a time frame to expect a whole class to work out such a complex issue completely. Do you want to know what's harder than disturbing the funds for one class's event, handling the same matter for every class in the school, and then some? That's the one who does that is me. Misha put her hands on her hips and stands up straight. Wow, she really is getting into the role. Lily doesn't look very amused, though. Hey, Shizune, aren't you being a little too hard on her? There's still a whole day left. Please, Hisao, it's alright. Lily seems happy in taking her side, but a bit conflicted that I might not think she can take care of herself. If this is about the budget, then I'm disappointed you think that I haven't forgotten about it. I understand how important it is. Then, can I have it, please? Shizune, she might not have it on her at this exact second. It's not here right now. I asked 2 students to take care of it for me, students from my class. She emphasized the last sentence much to my surprise. She knows about Shizune and Misha's efforts to rope me into the student council. I guess word must have gotten around, so now she's using me as ammo against Shizune. This just gets better and better. It was your responsibility. A budget report isn't something you should just delegate away. As a class rep, it's your job to be on top of things. This kind of disregard for poor procedure, or for proper procedure, is really just terrible. They completed it, being capable of doing so, but the students have been sick recently, so they could not come to school and give it back to me. If you want, I will apologize on their behalf for getting sick. Okay. Although Misha misses Lily's little jab entirely, Shizune doesn't, and seems torn between being offended by Lily's daring and jumping for joy at the prospect of a challenge. Lily, don't they live here at school? That's a 5-minute walk, you know. What could they possibly have that prevents them from taking 5 minutes out of their busy lives to drop on something that will affect the enjoyment of their entire class? Lily opens her mouth to say something, but Shizune closes the gap between them and starts signing furiously, waving her hands around like an orchestra conductor. Misha tries her best to convey the same passion, but can't seem to lose her normal cheerful tone. The result is interesting and somewhat surreal. And what's with that attitude? It's not something... I said that it's not something you should be delegating away. Aren't you the class representative, or aren't you? Tell me the names of those 2 students. They should have your job if you can't even handle something this simple yourself. One form isn't the full extent of what I am supposed to take care of. Lily's tone is growing slightly impatient, but she's doing a good job of not letting Shizune see how unsettled she is becoming. She's playing her cards close to her chest. Shizune, on the other hand, wraps her fingers cheerfully along the edge of her glasses, knowing that Lily can neither hear nor see how excited she is. Of course, you can do much, class rep. It must be so difficult being you. Lily tightens her lips at Misha's words, clearly understanding the intent behind them, even though Misha delivers them without even a hint of the sarcasm which they were meant to have. Shizune and Lily don't like each other, that much is clear, but this seems a little much. It seems like Lily has had enough and is already pushed back, and is ready to push back. Oh shit! What is happening here? I was actually just discussing the budget report before you came by. You must be very talented to have finished all your student council duties so quickly that you can track me down to make sure I don't forget my own. Is this Jojo? What is going on here? Are you accusing me of slacking off? It seems like you're confusing me with yourself. I don't think so. That would be a very difficult thing for me to do, comparing myself to you. You're right. The difference between us is like heaven and hell. It's not hard to guess which one you might represent. Damn. The air between them ripples at the heat of their enmity. Well, not really. They can't disguise it anymore, though. Even Misha looks like she's beginning to understand the real nature of this conversation. Hee-chan, don't you slack off either. What are you talking about? Aren't you taking a part in the festival, Hee-chan? You are, aren't you? Then I hope you're going to do a lot more to make sure it goes smoothly for this person. I don't understand why Shizune is suddenly getting mad at me. Cut me and Lily some slack. Hey, I'm the new guy, remember? It's not like I could have done much even if I wanted. That's right, you shouldn't expect a transfer student to jump into it on his first week. Lily taking my side feels oddly comforting, so I decided to back her up too. The sun is right there and in hell. Or I am, rather. Yeah, you should be you're being unreasonable with us both. Excuses. Miss Class Rep has had plenty of time to deal with her report. And we repeatedly offered you a position to help with the student council work, but you refused to commit yourself to making the festival a success. Yeah, but as I said back there, I'm not sure if... I don't have time for this right now. No matter what I do, it will mean being drawn into a confrontation with Shizune, and that is what she wants. Whatever, forget it. Turn my back at them. Lily, class is going to be starting soon, so we can talk more later. I'll tell Hanako you were looking for her. I can feel Shizune freezing. Maybe this is the first time she's ever been ignored in such a blunt manner. Thank you, Hisao. I'll leave now then. She gives me the sweetest smile I've seen all week and turns on her heels to make her exit. As soon as Lily walks out the door, I suddenly start feeling reluctant about turning to face Shizune. I can feel her eyes burning into my back, and I can't bring myself to look at her. She must be furious. I keep expecting Misha to say something to alleviate the tension, but it really is wanting too much. In the end, I can't go back to my seat and listening to the sound of Shizune's footsteps as she marches out the classroom. She doesn't return until a few minutes before class. Hanako doesn't come to the morning class at all, leaving her seat looking empty and lonely in the back of the classroom. I have to tell her that Lily was looking for her, if I see her later. And after the events of this morning, class is pretty boring in comparison. I turn the pages of my textbook lazily. I have a bit of catching up to do, despite trying to keep up with my studies at the hospital, but I'm not feeling that enthusiastic about it. The clock at the front of the room seems unbearably loud. The teacher hasn't said anything in over 7 minutes, instead opting to cover the board in rows and rows of equations taken directly from the book. The rhythmic clashing of chalk on blackboard seems to synchronize perfectly with the ticking of the clock. I start to copy down the equations just to pass the time, even though they are right there in the textbook. When the bell rings, I'm not in a hurry because I have nothing to do, so I stay for a while, reviewing what we covered in class. I prefer to leave last anyway, so I don't have to deal with the crowding in the hallways. I notice Shizune and Misha have also stayed behind, talking to someone from another class. Shizune signing so fast that her hands make noises like swords cutting through the air. Maybe there's pent-up anger in there. Misha is trying desperately to keep up, but it's clear she can barely manage to even understand her. I put my head down. Whatever they're discussing, it looks like serious business. Shizune signs to the point where her wrists crackle, and Misha struggles to spit it out in word form. Sometimes she even trips over herself like she's dealing with tongue twisters, and then on top of that, she has to sign back everything the other girl says. Seems like a rough job. Misha looks tired, like she's about to faint. Luckily for her, their business is soon finished, and the girls sit down on their seats again. Wow, I'm so tired. She's hanging her head limply on her desk, looking exhausted. I'll use it as the opportunity to reconcile with Shizune a bit, without getting roped into the student council thing again, though I suspect that door is now closed for me. Festival preparations will be tough for you. Indeed, the people in the school seem to be taking the festival very seriously. Whenever I see people idling around before or after classes, they're always talking about their plans for it. Kinda neat to see everyone so enthusiastic about it. I'm probably the only one who doesn't have something to do. Shizune scoffs at me at first as if trying to decide whether to ignore or sneer at me, but in the end she starts signing without doing either. Misha perks up, looking at her hands with slightly unfocused eyes. She signs with harsh, heavy, dramatic strokes. Misha translates her signing into speech for me. She does it so well, it's almost like Shizune is actually speaking, transmitting her thoughts directly through Misha. She must have practiced it vigorously. Well, of course, we're in the student council, you know, so we're pretty busy. It's an important duty of ours to ensure the success of the festival with all our strength. We would shame ourselves in front of the people... What? We would shame ourselves in front of the past student council generations if the festival were to fail. That's why there must be no flaws, no, I think that was encumbrances? No, nothing that might make it the festival short of perfect. Shizune's passion, speech, and Misha's enacting was oddly fitting of them. Let me see if I can move backwards enough so that I'm not in the fucking death of sun. Jesus. Oh, hello. Hanako? Yes. I look over my shoulder and see Hanako peering timidly into the classroom, most of her body hidden behind the door. Hey, playing delinquent again? Hanako blushes hard at Misha's straightforward jab, even if it was only a jest. Shizune stares at her probingly, causing Hanako to look down and start backing away to the point where only her fingers can be seen wrapped nervously around the edge of the door. Maybe she's showing her dislike of Hanako by association of her dislike with Lily. It appears so, and Hanako probably knows it as well. What is it, Hanako? Has Lily been here? Sorry, haven't seen Sato. She came by in the morning, though. Hanako keeps looking uneasily at Shizune, who stares back at her with the usual studying gaze. What is she trying to do? Of course, Shizune isn't going to look away, and she is intimidating enough as it is, so I can only imagine how terrified Hanako would be. It is a little uncomfortable watching Hanako's reaction to Shizune's normal behavior. This is what happens when two people of two different extremes meet, it seems. Do you know where she is? If she has any sense in her head, she's in her classroom working on her festival project, but who knows where that woman is loitering at? You need to find her? She was looking for you in the morning, but I guess you have missed each other. She waits a little without answering the simple question, looking awfully like she's not sure if it's proper to answer such a question. Yeah. I can come with you, if that's okay. Hanako nods fractionally, still on guard, her shoulders stiff like wood. I get the feeling that she might be more comfortable by herself after all, but it's too late to back off now. She has this really troubled expression, and she seems to wear almost constantly, one that makes me constantly be on my guard myself. I wonder why. I kind of understand why she always seems to be so wary, or maybe more like why there could be a person like her. But I still have no idea how I should act around such a person. It's dinner time soon. Were you planning to eat with Lily? She nods slightly. So she must have been trying to get into the cafeteria. Well, there is something of a dinner crowd, so just like the cafeteria is crowded during lunch. It's not as bad because dinner time is longer than lunch hour, but I can understand why Hanako would be discouraged from going in. I pick up my bag and we take our leave. Hanako skips a little to meet my initial pace, so I slow down to match her speed. It doesn't take long for us to be walking at a comfortable pace down the hallway. It almost feels like we're going for a stroll together, something that I can't say I've really done with a girl. Hanako doesn't seem to be thinking the same thing, though. Even though we are walking at the same pace, she never comes within arm's reach of me. I guess it's still a little uncomfortable around me. Given how shy she is, doesn't seem to be much helping it, at least for now. By the time we arrive at the cafeteria, there's not much of a crowd there, but Lily is nowhere to be seen. Hanako's head sinks even lower than usual. Have you looked somewhere else already? Just the library, I was reading. So she does spend her classes she skips at the library. Ah, so not exactly a thorough search then. Well, if I had to guess, she'd be in her own class like Shizune said, right? Right. With the slightest of nods, Hanako agrees with my reasoning. God, she's being so awkward. It's like I need double-layered silk gloves with padding to even begin interacting with her. Some small talk might help her become a bit more used to me. It isn't hard to tell that the silence between us is hovering on the edge of both of our minds. So you and Lily usually hang out together after class, right? Yes. I'm not quite sure what I expected from her answer, nor why I even asked the question. That much was rather obvious, after all. She doesn't seem like the type to be to cultivate a social circle either, so I suspect that Lily may well be her only friend. Must be a pain being in different classes, I'm guessing. She gives almost a sharp, almost reflexive nod. Compared to Lily's careful thought about her actions and speech, Hanako hastens to make her answers as prompt and short as possible. Lily comes by the classroom, though, even when she's busy. She gives a small smile as she says it, evidently appreciating the fact that Lily goes out of the way to help her. It's pretty cute, really. There isn't any need to say more. Both of us content with the discussions reached an end. As we ascend the stairs back to the lobby, we are met with a group of students heading downstairs like a school of fish moving from one feeding area to another. They seem to be keeping mostly to themselves, and before I can notice her doing so, Hanako has moved around behind me. Hey, are you alright? Just keep going. The students pass us without much of a second glance as Hanako takes up position to my side as we enter the building. Her momentary reprieve from her anxiety all but snatched away. God damn it. My chair made a crackle noise. Even as we climb down towards the third floor, she doesn't seem to relax. It's as if I've never known a shy person before, or even shy girls, but Hanako seems to be pretty far beyond what I'd call normal in her fear of other people. If it weren't for Lily acting as a mediator, I doubt Hanako would even be able to walk beside me like this. Lily seems to be completely shut down in the presence of others. The rest of the walk up to Lily's classroom continues in strained silence, while I rue her inability to socialize at all. After we make our way up the stairs, the noise coming from Lily's classroom is audible from from halfway down the hallway. I wasn't expecting such a din at all. Well, I guess we found her. This wasn't hard. Did Hanako come here first, then come to me for backup, I wonder? Well, if that's true, then at least she's starting to trust me a little. That can only be a good thing. Eventually, the two of us reach the door to class 3-2, which Hanako less than subtly positions herself behind me. I open the door. Inside is a hive of activity. This looked exactly like my fucking Spanish classroom in high school. Inside is a hive of activity, seemingly every student in the class talking at once as they work hurriedly on their separate tasks. Going by the paint cans, decorations, and banners being made, it must be for this upcoming school festival. I guess my first priority should be finding Lily. There. Finding her among the din is surprisingly easy, not the least because of her looks. With a couple students gather around her as she stands in front of the class, she seems to be in charge of the preparations, or at least busy organizing them. Carefully negotiating a path through her various students, hunched over the floor for the lack of desk space, I raise a hand entirely out of habit as we finally reach Lily. Hi, Lily. She perks her head up as she breaks off talking to a noticeably... What the fuck? Oh boy, my drawer almost fell. She perks up her head as she breaks off talking to an unnoticeably smaller girl who must just be her classmate, trying to listen as best she can. Sorry, who? Ah, sorry, Hisao. I have Hanako too. Hi. She's pretty skittish, considering the number of people around. It isn't too hard to work out why. Lily takes a moment's pause to assess the situation before turning to the other student once again. For the moment, just ask Moriya for his advice. Kenji's busy painting one of the banners already. Quick nod and she bounces off, fingers carefully sliding on the wall's face for orientation. Wait, Kenji? That Kenji? Equally turned about, leaning to the side to see past Hanako. Sure enough, in the corner of the room, Kenji's hunched over a sheet of cloth as he paints her. His eyes remain only inches from the brush, reminding me how close he had to be to make out my face when I met him. Sorry about that. Our class doesn't have that many students with even partial eyesight, so they're in high demand. That's right. Even Class 3-2 was specifically for students with poor vision. Preparing for the festival must be pretty arduous for them. Need a hand? I could give you some help if you need some. Maybe Hanako could too. A chance to set her mind on something we would do her good, but I doubt she has the courage to ask outright. She quickly nods in affirmation afterwards, so I'm confident I made the right move. Lily gives a noticeable sigh of relief. Ah, that's good. That might actually get finished before everyone goes off to dinner now. Would you be able to help the person painting the main banner? It's a big task for him to do, but nobody else can help. Kenji? Sure. She seems surprised that I know him. I can't really blame her. I take it you've met? Our rooms are in the dorm right next to each other. Hard to miss each other, really. Well, it's good to see you're getting friends so fast. Friend. I wonder if that's the right word to use for him. Hanako's silence during the proceedings reminds me of the reason I put her up to helping in the first place. We'll go help him then. He knows what needs doing, right? That's right. Just ask if you have any problems. Chorusing in assent, Hanako and I begin another trek across the classroom. Kenji sits crouched on the floor, his gaze fixed on the white calico in front of him. Hey, Kenji. No answer. He continues dragging his paint-soaked brush across the large, half-painted kanji that's sketched onto the sheet in pencil. Kenji? Huh? What? Who is it? It's as if this is the way he treats class members, it's no small wonder he's working on this alone. It's me, Hisao, from the... Right, I know that, man. What are you doing here, though? His dismissive attitude annoys me. He must be the type to really get focused on his work, hating to be disturbed by anyone until he's done, I suppose. While we talk, the sound of Hanako's footsteps as she walks out from behind me reminds me that she's here. I was just going to help with the banner, Hanako and I, that is. Hello. Oh, hey, I guess that's okay. As soon as Hanako enters the equation, his demeanor takes a complete about-face. His sudden faux hospitality is slightly unsettling. Oh right, women. That's like I thought this may not have been a great idea after all. Hanako and I grudgingly set ourselves down on the opposite side of the cloth banner to Kenji. Noticing the small several paint tins on the ground beside it. Class 3-2 noodle stall? You guys selling noodles at the festival on Sunday? Yeah, some stalls outside or something. Or something? His non-committal nature sparks a fair amount of suspicion on my behalf. The task at hand comes first, though. So how do you want to split this? We do borders while you do the text, or do you want to switch and do the borders? Text is mine, you do borders. He has surprisingly strong feelings on the topic. As I reach over to grab the brush, I notice Hanako's already debating between colors to use. By the time I put a brush to cloth, she's already started on a delicate pattern. Looks like my idea of taking her mind off everyone around her worked. My speech is getting all fucking bleh. With a dark blue stroke, the three of us gently get to work. Not before Kenji takes advantage of Hanako's working to lean towards me and whisper conspiratorially, though. Let's see. Okay, so I can save it any time. Paint by numbers. Oh, they have names of the scene. I like that. Okay, man, why are you here? Hanako just wanted some help to find Lily, that's all. He apparently disapproves of my motivations. I get it. Looks like I misjudged you. You're infiltrating them, aren't you? Going deep undercover? I should have guessed. Letting the truth slip by him would have probably been better than outright lying or annoying him in any case. Is that why you're here? Obviously. It sucks, but there's no better way to get intel than going in yourself. You gotta stick together, man. This is a harsh school, a harsh world. Yes, very harsh. He misses my true meaning as he leans back, satisfied and sympathetic to his cause. I'd better get down to work. She's so adorable. I don't know why. I love her. Finished. Looks like I am too. Good job. Two of us connect up the lines of our patterns, mine as close as a copy as I could manage of hers. With a grunt, I lever myself up on the floor and look around. Aside from Hanako and myself, there's only Kenji left finishing off a sign, as well as Lily and a couple students talking among themselves in the classroom. Looking at my watch, it's no surprise. It's getting pretty late. Need a hand? I offer a hand to Hanako, which she uses to get herself up. As she does, I can't help but glance at her wrist. If her scars extend even there, just how much of her body was burned. I feel a pang of guilt about it, however, as she quickly covers her wrist with the other hand. Looks good, doesn't it? She looks surprised for a moment before noticing that I mean the banner. It does, I guess. Her smile shows that she feels a slight sense of pride in the result, just as I do. With the floor significantly neater for the decorations being placed on desks and shelves, it's much easier to get to Lily as we cross the room. We finished the banner. I guess that's all that needs to be done? Lily gives an appreciative nod. Thank you, Hisao, Hanako. If there's any way I can thank you. It's fine. Beats sitting in my room studying at any rate. I don't mind either. She nods before suddenly remembering one last person. Oh, is Kenji still here? Just as I open my mouth, Kenji gives the answer from the other side of the room. Yeah, just finished. He carefully slides the sign onto the empty section of the shelf to dry before quickly walking past us and out the door. See you, man. Bye. The remaining two students say their goodbyes before Lily taking their cue to leave as well, leaving only the three of us. Well, I guess that's everyone. I hope we don't have to do anything like that again. Working past school time? Indeed, the class's plans this year were ambitious, maybe too ambitious. The stalls look nice, though. She's right, it shows a lot of work's gone into them. My, I'm sure a lot of us would be glad to hear that. At least now there's not much work to do until the festival itself. It's getting pretty late, should we go? That's probably a good idea. Are you going back to the dorms as well, Hisao? Yeah, I guess I'll tag along. Oh, wow. It's really dark. What the fuck is that? Is that a rock? Or a cat? What is that? That thing in the middle. The nighttime lighting really makes the gardens look quite different. Compared to the usual look of lush greenery, things are much more calm. Being that it's so late, the lack of students around probably helps. The odd one or two could be seen scurrying to and from the dorms to try and eck the most out of their approaching curfews, but no more. All that can be heard is our footsteps, in addition to Lily's cane regularly gently tapping the ground in front of her. It's nice to finally be able to relax a bit after the mad rush during school. Oh. Without even noticing it, I let out a small yawn. Tired? Yeah, still getting used to the flow of things, I guess. The thing with Shizune took my mind off guard, though. I kind of grit my teeth at the little candid mention of their rather public spat. That said, I did want to sort out what in the world was behind it. Ah, about that. I'm sorry about it being so public. Shizune and I go back some ways. Her voice seemed slightly irritated as she remembers Shizune, obviously unwilling to discuss it any further. I glanced to Hanako for her views on this, but her expression is, unsurprisingly, evasive and difficult to read. Either way, I guess her apologizing for it is something, even if my curiosity goes unanswered. I'll be glad once the festival is over, in any case. Change of topics welcome, clearing the thickening air quickly. I can imagine. My old school's festivals were a lot more low-key than this. Yamaku stresses the idea of a school community, so the staff likes to make our festivals as such special occasions. And yet the students are the ones who do the work. What an unfair world. Hanako and Lily both chuckle in agreement, savoring the fact that none of the staff are around to hear our grumbling. I suppose coming from an strict all-girls school helped me a bit with Yamaku. Compared to there, Yamaku is much more relaxed. That'd go away towards explaining her well-bred speech and behavior in any case. As we come into the dormitories, it eventually comes time to leave for our respective rooms. See you, Lily, Hanako. The two both give polite nods before setting off to the women's dorms, just next to the guys. As it is to be expected of such an arrangement, there's a staff member casually patrolling around outside to prevent any nighttime shenanigans. Walking past him, I quietly stretch my arms and rub my neck, both quite sore after having worked on the floor for so long, before walking to my room. Feels good to actually have direction, though. After so long in the hospital, the everyday facts of studying, homework, and teachers seem almost a blessing. I guess if things continue like this, my time at Yamaku might turn out okay. Adhering to the nurse's nagging voice in the back of my head, I set the alarm clock to wake me up early enough to go jogging again. I made a promise, and I'm going to keep it. Besides, Emmy is bound to rat on me if I don't show up. But it's not all that bad. I almost want to end it here. It may be good. How long has it been? There's no way that's right. 2 hours and 19 minutes? I've been live for 3. My voice is killing me. Yeah, I don't think I can go anymore. Sorry, guys. My throat really hurts. Tell you what, though. If there is enough of a demand for this, I might come back and play. Maybe. Too bad we didn't get any of the special alerts today. There were special alerts for follows and donations, but guess we don't get to see them today. Tuesday. What are plans for Tuesday? Probably more Astroneer. I was really enjoying that game, and I played some of it off stream with Brandy and had a lot of fun and learned a lot of new things, so I can bring those back. What else? I can't really think of anything else. Thursday. The only thing that I can think of is coming up. I don't know when exactly, but coming up, I do have a spring break sometime in March, closer to my birthday. Might do a birthday stream, I don't know, but that's way in the future. Don't need to worry about that. But thank you all for watching. I hope you had a great Valentine's Day, and I will see you guys next week.